Hello everyone, welcome to ASL Season 16 Ro.24 Group C match, proudly brought to you by Hot6 Drink. Just like last season, this season is already off to an unexpected start, and competition seems to be fiercer than ever. In yesterday's Group B match, Com managed to defeat his opponent with his innovative strategies to move on to round 16 at the first place, and Sulky was able to advance as the second player. And the 4 players in Group C all have their own narratives in ASL, and they have also played in ASL for a long time now. We're going to have an interview with them ahead of today's match. Hello everyone. Hello. Let's talk with the top tier player of this group, Snow.
안녕하세요.
Hello, Snow.
지난 시즌의 아쉬움을 떨쳐내셨을지
Were you able to brush off last season's disappointment?
사실 지난 시즌에서 죽음의 조
Because despite advancing from the group of death in the round 24, you did get eliminated in the round 16. It kinda aches my heart that you couldn't show all your skills last season. Have you recovered? No, not really.
근데 맨날
I mean, it really was a shame, but every single time I'm put in a group of best that comes with strong players. I mean, in hindsight, I just didn't play well. There was nobody to blame but myself. But I must say, what a twist of fate. The man who was responsible for putting you in the group of death in the round of 24 is sitting right next to you. It is Royal.
또 바로 옆에 앉아 계시거든요. 살짝 좀
He used his top seed authority during the group nomination to mess up your plans, so I can already sense a bit of awkwardness between you two. Are you all good about this now? No, not at all. This is actually better. Thank God I'm in the same group with him. We're not playing against each other in the first match, so we may not get a chance to meet each other, and that would be a shame. But I do hope that we do play against each other today. I see. So you're quite eager to play against Royal for the revenge match against him. I mean, he's gotta pay the consequences, right?
사실 좀 생각보다
I mean, yeah, I mean, Snow actually suffered a lot due to Royal last season.
김지성 선수가 손가락을
And right now, Royal is not making eye contact with Snow.
김지성 선수와도 한번 이야기를
So let's talk with Snow. Let's talk with Royal now.
장윤철 선수가 지금
Royal, Snow seems to be out for blood today.
이게 근데 오늘뿐만 아니라 평소에도
Not only today, but Snow literally clenches his teeth whenever I play against him in online
느껴지나요?
matches.
이를 악문 게
Can
경기
you tell that he's
안에서도
going
느껴져요?
all out during the game? Oh yeah, definitely.
만나면 무섭긴
I mean, he's a
한데
scary
그래도
opponent to
저도
face, but
이번에
my goal is to
이기려고
become
준비해왔기
champion as well,
때문에
so I won't let it be easy.
사실 김지성 선수가 본인이 우승자 권한을 가지고
Royal,
만들었던
you got eliminated from the group. You
아쉽게
handpicked
본인이
yourself
강타를
as the top seed as
하면서
well.
아 이거
So it must have been quite a
그보다
painful
실이
season for
조금 더
you.
많았던 시즌이 아니었나 결과적으로는 이런 이야기들도 많았는데요. 본인
So
스스로
I'm
이번
guessing your
시즌에 대한
mindset
각오가
heading
훨씬
into
더
this round
남다르실 것
24 is
같아요.
quite special.
솔직히 저번 시즌은 뭔가
Well, last season I was in a really bad form. I wasn't feeling confident, and I felt like I would lose even before the match began. From then on, I try very hard to make sure I don't make the same mistakes again. So hopefully it won't happen this time around.
지난 11일 공지에서는
Well, on the 11th, you uploaded a post saying that you were not feeling well. So many fans appear to be worried that you might not have fully recovered yet from that. Is everything fine? I think it's because I grinded so many games for the past few weeks. But after taking like a 3-day break, I'm feeling much better now. I'm winning my games again. So today I'm feeling good. Oh, that's nice to hear.
오랜만에 ASL 본선 무대에 돌아온
And now we're going to talk with Killer, who is back in ASL main stage after a long time. Hello, Killer. Hello.
오랜만에 예선에서
You successfully make it through the qualifiers and are now here with us for the ASL round of 24 match. I feel like you would have quite mixed feelings going through this match. Excitement and nervousness. What do you think? I mean, it's been such a long time since I last qualified for ASL, so I'm definitely feeling a bit nervous. The qualifiers were hard, but the round of 24 appears to be harder. It should be a tough day for me. Then which player do you find the most intimidating from this group? I mean, from this group, I'd have to say Royal. He's tricky to play against. As for Snow and Shuttle, they're pro players, so I think I'm gonna have a good chance going up against them. So does that mean you've secured the second place already? No, it doesn't work like that. But nevertheless, I practice hard, so I'm gonna give it my all today.
박준호 선수가 시즌 4 8강 이후에
Killer, the last time you advanced further than the round of 16 in ASL was back in season 4 when you got to round of 8. So the round of 16 advancement must mean a lot for you. You must be really desperate for this win.
오랜만에 올라왔는데
I mean, it's true that I've come back here after a long time, but I think I'm still falling short.
어쨌든 최선을
I'm going to
다해야
try my
되니까
very best today.
잘해보려고.
좋습니다. 또 옆에 계신
Well, let's
김윤중
talk with
선수와도
Shuttle now.
이야기를 나눠 보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
Hello, Shuttle.
네,
Hello.
안녕하세요.
이번 시즌 24강 C조에
So
대한
I want to hear your thoughts on the round of
궁금합니다.
24 Group C this
박준호
season.
선수, 김지성 선수를
Because
가장
Killers mentioned that Royo is the
따라가고
most
있는 것
difficult opponent to
같은데
face in this
김윤중
group.
선수 개인적으로 24강
So what are your thoughts on the
어떤 것
round of
같으세요?
24 bracket?
저는 좋은
Well, I'm
것 같아요.
satisfied. I like this
그래도
group.
테란 토스.
We have at least one player of every race in this group, and I'm confident against Terran and Protoss in offline tournaments. So, you know, I think this is a good group for me.
자신감을 굉장히 좀 갖고 계신
Well,
것 같은데
you appear to be very confident
그만큼
today.
준비 과정이 철저하셨다
Does it mean
이렇게
that
좀
you have
받아들여도
made thorough
될까요?
preparation ahead of today's match?
머리로
Well, rather than grinding a lot of games, I worked a lot of macro.
김윤중 선수가 사실 ASL에서 보여준 임팩트와
I mean,
조금은
your recent
다르게
performance in
최근
ASL has been
시즌에서는
quite
약간은
lacking
좀
compared to the
빠르게
season in the past.
탈락하는 아쉬움들이
You've been eliminated quite
있었는데요.
early,
이번 시즌 다른
comparably.
모습 팬분들이 기다리고
So I guess you were quite disappointed in this aspect.
팬분들이
I mean, the fans are like, we want to see you hold a trophy again,
네.
and I'm just like, that's absurd. That ain't happening.
예전에는 뭐 한 번만 하면
So they've been
그만이라고
continuously
했는데
demanding that.
막상 한 번 하니까 또 요구를 하더라고요. 그래서
And
하고
although I
싶은데
want to win ASL as
사람들이
well,
너무
all the
잘하다
other players are so good.
근데 그래도
But
한번
regardless,
노력해보겠습니다.
I'll try my best to win.
겸손하게 말씀하시는데 또 김윤중
I mean,
선수의
you speak
승부욕을
very
제가 또
modestly,
익히지
but I
알고
personally
있기
know
때문에
very well what
오늘도
your
한번
competitive spirit is
기대해
like.
보겠습니다. 본격적으로 팬분들의
Well,
질문까지
we'll look forward to your performance today, and now we have the
하겠습니다.
fans'
제일
questions.
먼저 다른 선수들과 비교했을 때
Compared with
자신의
other
플레이의
players, what is
강점이
your one
무엇인지
forte that you think is better than
보내주셨는데
others?
이건 내 플레이의 장점이다 하는
That's the
부분이
first question.
있으실까요? 박준호
So I want to
선수의
hear
생각
this.
궁금한데요.
I want to hear the answer from Killer.
아무래도 좀 약간
I'd have to say my
공격적인
aggressive
스타일이
playstyle excels more than
오늘
other people.
경기를 펼칠 3명의 선수들 중 내 플레이 스타일이 가장
Then who do
잘
you think?
먹혀 들어갈 것
Then
같은
against who is your
선수는
playstyle gonna
누군가요?
work
내 공격
well
무조건
against?
뚫릴 수 있다.
I'd say Shuttle.
김윤중.
I think it's gonna work out well against Shuttle.
김윤중 선수 플레이 스타일의
Then another
강점은
question for
뭔가요,
you.
그러면?
What is Shuttle's strengths? In your
박준호 선수가
perspective.
생각하는.
강점이요?
네.
뭔가 좀 약간 단단한
Well, possibly
스타일인데
his
네.
solid, consistent
그냥
playstyle.
뭐한 3년
But it's been the
전이나
same for the
똑같은 것
past 3
같아요.
years, so I'm not too sure.
단단하지만
Solid yet still penetrable.
정도다.
네, 그러니까
Yeah, I'd
초중반이
say
좀
so.
약해가지고
His early mid game is quite weak.
네, 굉장히 냉철하게 좀 판단을 하고 계시는 것 같은데
Do
동의하시는지
you agree with that,
들어볼까요?
Shuttle?
뭐 어느
Well, to a
정도는
certain
동의하는데
extent.
이
But
친구한테는
I'm not
아닙니다.
gonna
저는
lose to
예,
this
서로
guy.
약한 건 인정하는데 예.
No way am I losing to this
적어도
guy.
또 저거 나름이에요.
I mean, not-
예.
Not all Zergs are the same, okay?
정도까지는
There's like different
아니에요.
classes
그
between
정도까지는
Zergs.
아니다. 네.
그 정도까지는 아니에요.
알겠습니다. 자, 다음
Alright, here comes the next
질문까지
question.
확인해 보겠습니다. 또 재밌는 포인트를
This is
짚어주신 것
actually an
같은데요.
interesting question,
ASL
actually.
우승 경험자인 김지성 선수와 김윤중 선수가 우승을 하지 못했던
As former
박준호
ASL
선수와
champions,
박준호
what
선수에게
tips can Royal and
우승할 수
Shuttle
있는
give to
팁을
Snow
좀
and Killer?
알려주신다면 이런
And that was the
질문을
third question.
올려주셨습니다. 이거는 또 김지성 선수가 또 최근에 우승을
How about we
하셨기
throw over
때문에
this question to Royal, who's the most
장윤철
recent ASL
선수에게 팁을
champion
준다면
among this group?
네, 제가 생각해도 쭈기 형, 윤철이 형은 정말
I mean, it's
우승을
still a
하고도
mystery
남을
to me
실력이
how Snow hasn't won
지금까지 한 번도
ASL yet
못했거든요.
despite his skills.
근데 보면
But I
항상
noticed how he gets knocked out by
떨어지더라고요.
Zergs all the time.
근데 저는
We asked for a tip.
근데
I
저는
mean, when I
이제
won ASL,
역상성전인 토스전을
I didn't play my worst
안
matchup,
했거든요.
which was TVP.
약간 운이
So you
좋아야
gotta be
되지
lucky
않나.
if you want to win ASL.
운이 좀 따라줘야 우승할 수 있지 않을까요?
장윤철 선수의 실력은 이미 우승을
Yeah, I mean that's
하고도
true.
납니다.
You're right.
살짝의
Snow does
운만
have the champion
따라준다면
caliber skills, but he's
충분히
been very
가능하다라는
unfortunate
해주셨는데
in ASL.
김윤중 선수도 분명히 왕의 DNA 갖고
So show you have the king's
아니,
DNA
팁을
too,
좀
right? You have
주세요.
the champion
지성이 말이
DNA.
맞는 게
네.
잘하는데 우승 못하는
Royal is very
친구들이
correct
있어요.
in his
엄청
answer.
잘하는데.
There are players who have really good skills but weren't able to win, like Soma, like Snow.
이건 진짜 자기만 잘하는.
So you cannot become an ASL champion just because you're good.
우주의
The
기운이
stars have to
네,
align to
우주의
you.
기운이.
That's how you win ASL.
우승할 수 있지 않나.
두 분의 말씀을 들을수록 우승을 향한 길은 참
Well, you know,
멀고도
as we hear the
험한 것
answers,
같습니다.
we just
자, 다음
feel how
질문을
hard it is to
확인해
become an ASL
보겠습니다.
champion.
선수들의 현재 실력에 관한 질문입니다. 각
Okay,
선수들의
here comes the
최근
next
폼이
question.
전성기 때에 비해 몇
If you were
퍼센트라고
to express
스스로
as
좀
a percentage
생각을
of the
하는지
ratio of your
물어봐
current form to
주셨는데요.
back when you were in your prime,
장윤철 선수의 생각 좀
what would it be
들어볼까요?
like?
저는 뭐 현역 때 잘했던
I mean, back when I was in my prime, I wasn't that good.
지금이 잘하는 것 같아요.
I'd say my current form is actually better than my
지금
when I was in my
워낙
prime,
최근에
so I'd
장윤철
say
선수의
above
폼이 좋기
100%.
때문에 충분히 이 답변을 좀 긍정하고 계시는 분들 많으실 것 같습니다. 마지막
Alright, here comes the last
질문입니다. 선수들의 현 상황을 굉장히 재밌게
This is
평가해
also a very interesting
주셨는데요.
question as well.
분유 버프,
Marriage buff,
오랜만에 진출,
an advancement in a long time,
군입대 전에
and the last dance
ASL,
between,
뭐 이런
before military
키워드들이
service.
있습니다. 각자
Every player in this
동기부여가
group has their
그만큼
own source of
남다를 만한
motivation.
선수들이 한 조에 모여 있는데요.
So
이번
we
시즌
want to
이번에
hear
각
what your
선수들의
motivation
동기부여,
is
정말 어떤
for
것들이
this
있을지
season.
궁금합니다. 일단
I want to ask
장윤철
this
선수,
question to Snow first.
확실히 분유
Is it the marriage
버프가
buff?
좀 있나요? 경기를 하면서.
그쵸, 이제 좀 그래도 보다 혼자 있을 때보다 성숙.
I mean, I feel like I've become more
성숙하게 된
mature
느낌이고,
after my marriage and after
우승을 못
having a
해봤기
son.
때문에 이번엔 좀 더 열심히 하게 되는.
So it definitely serves as a motivation to try
생기는 것
harder in
같아요.
ASL.
각각의 지금 동기부여들이 있는데 김윤중 선수 개인적으로는
So, Shuttle,
이번 시즌 어떤
you
부분이
probably have a
가장
special
동기가
motivation
부여되는지
yourself, right?
궁금합니다.
우선은 어제
I
엄청난
mean, yesterday,
일어났어요.
a huge,
김윤환
unfortunate
선수의 진출
upset
올라가서는 안 되는
happened.
선수가
Was
올라갔는데
Calm advancing to round of 16.
그 사람이 아마 지금
And Calm's probably
방송 보고
looking,
있을 것 같습니다.
watching the
네,
stream right
오늘
now.
어제 선언했더라고요.
And he said yesterday that he's gonna become a very critical analyst when it comes to my match.
좋은 경기력으로 오늘 올라가서
So I'm going to advance today, and I'm going to be in the same group with Calm and try to defeat him.
올라가도록 하겠습니다.
전 STX 선수들이 지금 거의 다
And that's
올라와
right,
있거든요.
almost all the
확실한
STX
동기부여
former players
되시겠죠?
have managed to advance to round 16 right now.
많이 올라갔어요. STX
You're right.
특히
A lot of
현재
STX players
시드,
in
유난히
the round of
형까지
16 already.
진짜 예상치
So
못한
we had
친구가
like
올라가는
Hero,
바람에
we had
세
Mini,
명이 됐는데
and Calm.
꼭 올라가서
I want to
16 중에
become the
네 명
fourth
될수 있도록
STX player to
기대하도록
join the round
하겠습니다. 자,
16.
이렇게 네 명의 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤는데요. 끝으로
Okay,
경기
last of
이번에
all,
각오를 짧게 한
let's hear the
말씀씩
players' resolution
들어보겠습니다.
before going into
김지성
this
선수.
match.
오늘 개인적으로 정말 쉽지
Well,
않은
personally, I
거라고
think this is a very
생각해가지고
difficult group for me.
많이 준비했으니까 좋은
But I'm going to try to show my best performance my best
좋습니다.
performance today.
장윤철 선수.
And Snow,
열심히
I'll try my best
하겠습니다.
today.
네.
기대하겠습니다.
We'll look forward to it.
박준호 선수.
저도
Killer?
오랜만에 올라왔는데 좀 이제
I mean, it's been a long time since I last advanced, but I'll try not to go down in flames like C did.
기대하도록 하겠습니다. 네,
And
김윤중
lastly,
선수.
Shuttle.
이따
I'll come back for a second interview.
기다리고 있겠습니다. 자, 네 분 모두 화이팅
And all the
넘치는
four
경기
players
기대해
seem
보셔도 좋을
extremely
것
confident
같습니다.
ahead of today's
감사합니다.
match. Let's see how the
감사합니다.
match unfolds.
각각의
And now that's it for the interview with the four players of Group C, who will be the two players coming out on top in this group to make it to round 16. Please stay tuned as we commence the Group C match.
지금부터 함께 만나보시죠.
What's up, everybody? We're ready to go into Group C here in the ASL Season 16. I think it's safe to say we got all the bad games out of the way in Group B, so today has to be better.
Yeah, and certainly it will. We have a much stronger group here today. We know what type of shape these players are in, and it is strong. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and one of our possible tournament winners going to be playing today in Snow.
Yeah, Snow's been in incredible shape. I mean, just a couple of years ago, we were saying this guy's basically the best PvT ever. Well, it seems like he's leveled up in his other matchups. He seems to be more on top of the race Protoss than anybody that I can think of. And maybe Mini came close to this, but Mini's style was always so obtuse and kind of hard to catch up to, where Snow seems to be really refined, really solid. He's covering all of his bases. He's like the perfect Protoss player.
Yeah, he is the strongest Protoss in the world right now. In the Pro Gamer Pro Leagues that they run at nighttime on their streams, he's ranked #1 in all 3 Protoss matchups. He's dominating at the moment. So definitely a big favorite here tonight. And if he doesn't go through, that's a huge upset, maybe the biggest upset we could possibly have.
I feel like 100% he has to go, through this. Now, again, this group is actually very hard. It's funny we're talking about Snow, but Royal, I mean, this guy is a god. I mean, this guy is transforming the Terran race in really incredible ways. He had an incredible story last year, but even with that being said, I mean, Snow is kind of the talk of the town right now in Korea and kind of stealing the show. Shuttle here as well, always a safe bet. I think this is going to be a tough group for him. And then Killer, I mean, I think he's frankly overshadowed here by some of these other guys in the group. But again, we saw what Calm did. Who's to say Killer can't do the same?
Yeah, there's a possibility in there. Killer, you shouldn't underestimate. I think he is a very strong player. We don't see him every single season, but when we do, he puts out some very high-quality games. It doesn't feel like he's someone who has nerves hit him or anything like that. But yeah, Snow and Royal are just such a step above. Really, they're both actually the players that are pushing their races forward right now more than anybody. Royal may not be quite as strong as, like, let's say, Light or something, but he's close, and honestly, he's experimenting more than anybody right now. Like, he is bringing out some real new age stuff where when you watch as a Terran player, you're like, what? We can do that?
Yeah, he's got a very unique take on Terran. It's really been an interesting time to follow Terran because Flash not being here, there were concerns that maybe that would, cause a real deficit for Terran, but it seems like he's given, with his absence, there's been a lot more oxygen for these other Terrans with other ideas to kind of fill in the space and grow and change a lot. Even just like very early openers themselves. I mean, there's been a lot of really crazy, interesting ideas at play. And so I'm very excited to see what Royal's going to do here. I do think this is a very top-heavy group. I mean, I think Snow and Royal, it's extremely likely that they're the ones that advance and get out. But who knows, man? We always have upsets every single ASL.
That's a fact right there. And we may have that here tonight, but I'm holding my breath. Like, Snow's record, you can see here, is not so good versus Zerg, but that's an old record. He's been playing ASL since the beginning, and he actually had some hilarious streak where he didn't win a PvZ game for like 10 years in pro matches. It was something crazy. Yeah. But nowadays, his PvZ is immaculate, and you're going to see that here tonight.
Yeah, normally when we talk about Snow, we would talk about that matchup, PvZ, and that it just seems to cause a lot of problems for him, and if he could ever clean that up, he would be a huge threat. Well, he's cleaned that up. I mean, he looks very, very good. PvZ, he's really leaned into kind of just the solid Protoss push play, macro games, harassing, looking good. He looks like kind of another, a different version of Bisu in some ways, of just being really solid and kind of getting in there. Where you have other players like Mini, who've kind of relied on more eccentric plays and kind of greediness. I feel like Snow has just got such a solid foundation.
Yeah, he really does, which I think is helping him forward quite a bit. He knows how to get into that later game where Protoss actually can fight back. Now, talking about Killer, aka Baxter, like he's good. He's good. He has good builds. He has good execution. His micro's good. His macro's good. But he doesn't have any like Zerg superpowers. He doesn't have like the crazy micro of like a Queen or a Soma. He doesn't have, the insane late game of Sulky or anything like that. He's just a good, solid Zerg. But because he doesn't have anything that stands out, it's hard to see him actually take down a player like Snow. Like, it can happen, but it's not like, well, we know that Killer is especially good at, Mutalisk micro, so maybe he can do that. He doesn't have something like that.
No, he's definitely a lightweight, when compared to these other guys, and especially going up against Snow, who looks like he might actually just be the best player in StarCraft right now. I mean, he's looking really, really good. Guys, we're going to go into Game 1. Fingers crossed that Group C does not look like Group B. This is ASL Season 16. All right, we've got both of our players starting at the bottom here on our new map, Apocalypse. We do have the Overlord going towards the right side of the map, so he is going to get over to where Snow is pretty soon. I imagine Snow's going to go for a quick expand of some sort, but, I'm open to whatever he's going to try here. I mean, he really seems to be the guy that's kind of figuring everything out here for Protoss. And by the way, if Snow can keep this up, I mean, Snow was the guy that beat Flash when Flash was not losing to anybody just a few years ago. And I was always wondering, okay, like when you make a move like that, is that going to is this the peak of your career, or are we actually leveling up and this is going to keep going?
Yeah, and it turns out that was not the peak of his career. Like, he is so much better than when Flash was around. We do know that Flash has been practicing on ladder, and Snow actually 5-0'd him on ladder.
Oh my god, I did not know about that. Wow.
Oh, you didn't know? You didn't hear about this? Yes, he did. He like Flash. He got out of the military semi-recently, and he did not try out for this ASL. Apparently, he had some sort of injury or something. But his ladder account got figured out, and apparently Snow, he 5-0'd him. So, like, Snow's Protoss vs. Terran really is on this other level, but again, his Protoss vs. Zerg win rate is extremely good at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's astounding. It's the good thing about being a fan of StarCraft is that the game just keeps aging very well, and so it's going to be interesting, through this year on into the next couple of years, like how much better is Snow going to get? I think I'm guilty of this, and I'm sure many of the people who are fans of StarCraft can admit that they've done this, is you kind of just have settled that Flash is the best and will always be the best, right? But, I mean, man, we're only 25 years in, you know? I mean, who's to say someone else wouldn't dominate for a decade plus? I mean, that's what's so fun about this. We've already come so far. Let's go a little bit farther, you know?
Yeah. It's a good point. If the game's going to last forever, we may eventually have someone better than Flash. That's a possibility. Could it end up being Snow? Maybe.
He would have to do it, and then I would be like, I'll see you guys in 13 years, all right? Keep this up. But I just want to put that idea out there. I mean, maybe we're going to see this guy just continue to grow, because he's basically stayed ahead in ideas. I mean, Mini kind of with Protoss cut the line a little bit, and that was really cool, but he seems to be too volatile as far as results go. Like, he can beat anybody, but then he could sometimes just lose outright. I think it's partially because of the way that he plays is kind of crazy and greedy, and corner cutty. Just to get into this game real quick, I've got to point out that there's no wall-in yet. I mean, we don't have a cybernetics core or a forge here at the entrance. I'm a little bit worried as to how many more lings are going to come up, but there's enough lings on the map that you probably should be afraid. It seems like there should be 8 lings total on this map. I mean, once we get a glimpse of that Protoss wall, and I want to see, is that a forge? Is this a core? Because this was a big thing that happened in the matchup that really Mini kind of showed everybody, is I will get the cannon and even the building that lets me make the cannon as late as possible, which is really scary. I mean, you don't have to be a Protoss player or even really a diehard StarCraft player to know that a lot of PvZs end really early. It seems like in some ways this is Protoss. It's just a brittle race early on, even though Zealots are tough. But yeah, I mean, we saw the Forge delayed here a little bit, and the gas taken pretty early. He's going to get that. He doesn't have the cannon still. This is what we're talking about, right? I mean, I think most people that have played PvZ for a long time are used to just kind of getting the cannon up at the same time every time. But players like Snow are that unfazed by speedlings and that confident with their ability to manage the entrance that they'll do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, in Terran vs. Protoss, trying to skip your siege mode as long as possible. Like, the later you get it, the better spot you're in. But if you screw up, you can just die to Dragoons or Reavers, right? So it's kind of a similar idea of let's push everything to the limits, and we can see Snow starts his Stargate before that cannon. So, that's pretty intense. He's going to have that Corsair out really quickly.
Yeah. It's funny when you brought that up, Tastosis, just, pushing siege mode back as far as possible, because that really opened my eyes when you told me that. Because from my perspective, right, as a Protoss player, I'm like, well, don't you always get it fairly early, right? I mean, that's why I can't run into your base with Dragoons, right? Which is why most Protosses don't. Yeah. But then you realize, oh, yeah, but if I never bothered to tech check you with a scout, how would I know, right? So these are these ideas that, we're really seeing develop here and blossom as the game gets further along. Now, the Corsair is going to get here. This is a little bit earlier than if we had had kind of the more ordinary tech pattern, which is just a cannon a little bit sooner, which delays the Stargate a little bit. This allows the Protoss to fully move through this whole thing. If this was a Hydra bust, you would spot it earlier. There are early Hydras, but there's also an early layer and a fourth hatch. So I don't think there's any real generated threats yet here by Killer. Snow is going to go ahead and move out now.
Yeah, that's a lot of Zealots going across the map. And, of course, we do have these Hydras coming up as well as a layered Hydra build. So this isn't like some sort of crazy all-in, anything like that. The Corsairs going back for a bit of harassment as the Hydras are out of position. Looks like he is going to be able to pop an Overlord. A momentary supply block, but still going after more. And oh, it's a Lurker Ling build.
Okay, so this is a really good cheese. And you got to be so ready for this, because what'll happen is all the cannons will just get blown up. This is like one of the things that if you play ladder, like it rarely happens, but when it comes, it's brutal. And you know, the issue with it is that the Zealots don't really help out that much. Okay, so he sees the Lurkers, so all you need to do now is make a ton of cannons. You like overmake cannons and you should be fine. Oh, and this is so good. He
and
can
look at
block
this. He
it.
brings his Zealots out, too, to zone everything. This is really smart. Force those burrows, and every time you force a burrow, it's like just amazing. It slows down the sword so much. A DT coming out here as well. Oh, man. It looks like this rush is just absolutely not going to work.
Yeah, somehow all four of these Lurkers are still alive here. It looks like he will get the Forge. Killer has already abandoned this strategy winning the game, and we know that because drones are being hatched back at home. Yeah, I mean, getting the Forge is nice, but the reality is basically that, you know, Zerg's in a really bad spot right now. And I think all that Snow has to do is remake the Forge back at home and keep scouting with these Corsairs and looking for any other surprises in the tech. He probably also wants to get some cannons in his main here, because the only other thing I could imagine that would maybe lose the game for the Protoss is if he like Lurker dropped the main.
Well, what does a macro recovery look like here? Can you just go into like a Hydra Lurker containment, something like that, and just try to keep them in their base?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the most common play from this, but I'll tell you, it's actually pretty easy to come out and bust this. I mean, we have 8 gateways done. 8 is the number, and this is a great move too. Is when it's a small number of Lurkers like that, and you have cannons already done, you can just run out on the map, and these Zealots get to act like vultures, and you can try to kill other hatcheries or threaten to run into the main. Somehow the other Lurkers were killed off there. I'm not totally clear on how that happened. He doesn't have... Oh, he's probably stormed it.
Oh. Yes, I stormed. But now he's got all these Zealots out here with that +1. The Ling's going to have a hard time against this. But it seems like there's enough Hydras. I don't think he's going to take any damage, but I love that Snow is out on the map and kind of forcing Killer to sit back until he's really ready to move out.
The scary part for Killer is that he doesn't have a 4th base. He doesn't have a pretty strong macro engine working for him. And, Protoss basically went uninterrupted other than losing a Forge for like a second. So, like, the push is going to be really scary. And the Protoss is going to be the boss of the map as we get further along here.
Well, Killer has remade a decent amount of drones, has a fair amount of Hydras here, Lurkers being morphed as well. Maybe he can get up onto that high ground and end up holding that. You know, I feel like I've seen so many Protoss vs. Zerg games that look fine, and then Protoss keeps trying to break a Lurker, a Lurker containment or a Lurker position that's on high ground, and it just never works out.
Okay, that was a big scout. He spotted the mutas. That's one thing you want to watch for is, are they going to do some kind of big muta switch? Because the truth is, if you just play from a position of being behind, you're probably going to die. So the idea here with these mutas is to, because Corsairs were stopped early on because he realized that he was getting Lurker all in, the hope is that, maybe he won't have adequate air defense. Maybe you can snipe the Templars and then just overpower the player with the army that you have.
Yeah, okay. Well, the Muta's flying in towards the main. He did make some extra cannons and leave some Dragoons here, so it doesn't look like that's an area that Killer's going to be able to really harass. The Corsair is just kind of mirroring the movement here of those Mutalisks. Dude, Snow's defense is really rock solid here. It doesn't feel like there's any window for Killer to get anything done.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you do these unusual aggressive plays as Zerg. You know, one of the reasons why we see Hydra Bust so often is that you can kind of tech out of them a little bit more easily than stuff like a Lurker Bust. And, you know, it's tough. I mean, Snow, the game, honestly, from here on out should be pretty easy, I think, for Snow. I think he just has to basically stay back and mass up and, you know, probably get up to like 160, 170 supply, and then just look for a target to push. And the Observer right now is showing us two great spots.
Yeah, well, Killer is trying to take more bases, so you do have to appreciate that about him. His Mutas haven't taken too much damage as of yet. Flying around right now with those Hydras, maybe he'll still have an opportunity to either draw storms out with them or pick off some of the High Templars as well. It is a full group, so he's put a ton of money into these. And honestly, his supply is high. It just feels like it can all die to storms so quickly.
Yeah, well, the trick is to make sure these Corsairs are really protecting the Templars. You really need to make sure that you have your eyes on these Mutas. If you could get a StarCraft 2 Oracle and tag those Mutas, that's what you do, but you can't. But you need to know where they are, because if the Mutas can just kamikaze onto like 3 or 4 Templars and kill them, the Zerg's back in this, because the Hydra count is high enough that it can just out-micro Zealots and Dragoons by themselves.
Well, Snow is sitting back, continuing to macro. He's got some very healthy supply here, up at about 170. Killer, though, is really keeping up in that regard. That's one of the things that I'm most impressed about from him this game, because, like, let's not forget, the whole Protoss army is 2 supply a unit. For Zerg here, it's like 1 for all the Hydras, right? So there's a huge amount of Hydras on the map right now.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot out here. The problem is that Storm is going to beat it so badly. When you have 4 Templars, you have enough Storms that even if they keep trying to jump through them, everything just takes so much damage that you win the fight anyways. And by the way, it was a pretty subtle thing with Snow, the fact that he sent the Zealots down there to confirm a kill on one hatch and a DT to kill the drones on the other. Snow was able to punish the Zerg, slow him down in growth, and not give up his position on the high ground here.
Yeah, that's a very good move. I love that he's actually just kind of holding that position, because it feels impossible to attack uphill into Dragoon, Zealot, Storm. But now it looks like Snow is looking to come down, kind of like you said. You were saying you were looking for about 170 supply before he really moved out. And he's got that now, so it does seem that that's what he's thinking about. But look at this. Comes in and picking off some High Templars here. Very well done by Killer.
I mean, he got a lot, Artosis. I think there's still 1 Templar in the back. I guess it doesn't have the energy. Well, this is what I was talking about. Is if the... oh, my God. What I said, the one way that he could lose this, it happened. He had the Corsairs not quite covering this. And, I mean, I might be wrong, but it's a lot of Hydras, man. That's a lot of Hydras. I think Snow's going to lose this game.
I think you're right, which is absolute madness, because it felt like he was playing a beautiful game. But, I mean, you lose 3-4 High Templars in a matter of seconds to that Mutalisk flock. You know, he just let up his attention for a moment, and Killer just... I mean, this was an exercise in patience. You know, it looked bad for him. There were a ton of High Templars, and he waited for his moment, and he striked, and here we are. It looks like he's going to have just such an advantage. I can't imagine him losing from here.
No, I mean, I'm even trying to figure out if the game will still go on. I mean, it's now, okay, now hold up. I got to point this out. It's 3 bases versus 2 bases now. So that hatchery in the center left was killed off. I guess the DT got that. Man. So now if the Zerg was on 5 bases and the Protoss was on 2 bases, I'm like, you know, we'll have GG in a couple minutes, I guess. But there's nothing to stop the Protoss from remaking, you know, another 4 to 5 Templars and trying to build out an army. But this is an advantageous position here for Killer, no doubt.
Tastosis You know how, like,
15 kills.
back in, I don't know, season 3 or something, every game would be like, is this a good position to go carriers? PvZ.
Yes.
Well, and yeah, so now I got a new one, Tastosis. I think Best figured it out. These guys need to be making a Dark Archon, man.
Actually, I think you're probably
You need
right.
Maelstrom for...
I think, like,
Yeah.
this is in my own, like, low-rank experience, but it's been true for me, is, like, if anything weird happens early on and I hold it, I know that one of the only ways they can win is to get mutas. And if I get a Dark Archon, I mean, that just stops it. There's just nothing they can do.
Yeah.
And the Corsairs, in theory, can stop it, but they have to be there, and they have to be micro. And it's just like this. Once the mutas kill the Templars, you don't care anymore. It doesn't matter how much damage the mutas have taken. It's a completely irrelevant point. And so, yeah, I think this should be the beginning of the end now.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. You know, he's picked off the High Templars once again. That Mutalisk Flock doing its job. So many Hydras rallying across the map. You know, as Snow, he gets that third base back up, but Dragoon Zealot just can't fight evenly here.
I mean, I guess I'm stunned right now. I can't believe that Snow's going to lose this. I mean, I know that upsets happen. I even said it at the start of this show, but of all things that I was certain about, I thought this was going to be a pretty straightforward game. Let's not forget, this was a Lurker kind of sucker punch opening here that didn't work. But I'll tell you, man, I mean, it's not surprising that Muta Hydra has become so successful in the last 5 years. You know, you snipe the Templars, and it's like, yeah, dude, Hydra's actually beat a Protoss army of Zealots and Dragoons.
Yeah, Zealot Dragoon can't really fight against these huge amounts of Hydras. There's just far too many. GG is called, and that means that Killer will go to the winner match. Dude, this is getting super dangerous, right? Like, this is already super dangerous for Snow. Again, he's one of the players we're looking at as a possible champion this season.
Yeah.
And he's in a loser match. And, like, even, you know, you expect Royal to beat Shuttle, and Shuttle is kind of a meme in the pro scene, but he's legitimately very strong and could end up, you know, a PvP, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a really good point, Artosis. This now means... Wait a minute. No, I'm dumb. I was like, this means that Royal and Snow can't both get out. It's like, no, that's not what that means. This is the stupidest thing you've ever said. What it does mean, though, how long have we casted groups like this that I could come to a conclusion like that?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Look, it is crazy to see that Killer just did, you know, what we saw Calm do yesterday. To watch out for these underdog Zergs, man.
They're good.
And I think we can all agree, you got to get a Dark Archon. If the game is guaranteed, spend a little bit extra gas. Get a Dark Archon.
Seriously, it's not that much.
I mean,
like,
I think the idea is that, like, but the Corsairs, if I control right, they'll beat the Mutas. And it's like, yeah, but you already won the game, right? All you had to do is, like, get out there, take a fight, and storm this stuff. By the way, when they go mass Muta like that, they don't have Lurkers or not many Lurkers. So, like, all you have to do is have a fight.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, and then 2 High Templars in the front got stormed. Oh my God! What a good engage from Killer.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to give it to the guy.
With that many storms, you crush this. You just crush it. So, yeah, and I mean, he's got plenty of money. Look at what he has in bank too. Like, you can't tell me you can't afford Maelstrom, which costs 100, 100, and 2 DTs to win the game. That's rough. That's rough. Hopefully Snow can come back. Honestly, like, he's the player I really want to advance in this group, man, because he's going to make it a lot more interesting in the later rounds. But Killer earning that victory.
Yeah, props to Killer, man. I mean, again, you know, we can look at these groups in ASL, and a lot of times it's, you know, players get a lot more attention than others, and Snow is one of them. And Snow, I think, you know, probably hoping to take this whole season, now has to figure out, first of all, how does he get out of the round of 24?
Yeah, well, he's got a long night ahead of him, but we're going to jump to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Royal versus Shuttle.
우주급 텐션 최고의 토킹 핫식스 토킹.
너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
여름이 왔다. 마음껏 청량하자. 청량한 순간에 언제나 칠성사이다.
똑같은 하루에서 답답함을 빼면 더 청량해질 거야. 제로처럼. 우리 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살자. 칠성사이다 제로.
레전드 국가대표 손호찬님 모셨습니다. 반갑습니다. 스트리머의 입장으로서는 DJ 입장에서는 아프리카 사람 다 됐네. 오늘 작정하고 왔구나. 10원 괜찮아. 막 기가 삼켜. 아프리카의 심장에서 아프리카 얘기하는 거야.
What's up, everybody? Are you still reeling from snow dying? I am. That is crazy. Before we get further along in our show, we want to reach out to you and ask you to go to patreon.com/ASL English. Sign up for a year if you can. You're supporting our ability to continue to give you English content, translations, all this stuff that we're doing. We are relying on viewers like you. And if you do sign up, you can listen to the Tastosis podcast, our secret podcast where you can hear us as we're chatting, waiting for the part of the show to finish where we actually start casting. So we always have a little back and forth, little conversation, a little something for you if you sign up.
Yeah, it's secret. Though. Don't
tell
other
anybody
people about it. But yeah, big thanks to everyone for that Patreon. The ASL, it's going well. It's going strong. I think it's going to be around forever. So thank you guys very much for keeping us in the loop there. And our whole team is working very hard to get them out as quickly as possible. So hope that you guys enjoy some of the new upgrades that we've done to get these out quickly.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in this next game. I feel like I'm having a hard time processing this group now that Snow got moved down to the lower part. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is going to have potentially some very different results as far as where this goes. Royal certainly, I think, has had a very good hand dealt to him here. Because I think Shuttle is absolutely a doable opponent for him. And I think, anybody would prefer to play against Calm over Snow, right? So, it's going to be probably...
Or Killer.
I'm sorry, Killer over Snow. Excuse me. So, yeah, let's see what he's got going into this. But, again, Royal is in top form right now.
Yeah, he really is. He's looking fantastic. He's got some very fresh ideas for every matchup. But like TVP, I've seen a lot of his Terran vs. Protosses lately, and he certainly has some cool stuff he's been doing. Really favoring the gasless expands lately. Shuttle is such a funny guy. He's like a very popular streamer, and he's actually very good, but he's also kind of a meme. Because he's like the punching bag of the very top level of pros. He's got like this record in their pro leagues that is actually very weak because like he's probably the weakest of the best players that play together. But the thing is, you shouldn't underestimate him because he's playing against the very best in the world. He's honestly, I've thought for a long time that he's kind of underrated. Like he is a really good Protoss player. It's just, he has some problems, like when he maxes out against Terran, he will attack every time, no matter what.
Yeah, he definitely has some quirks in his play. Obviously, a really, really good player. Really funny streamer, actually. If you ever watch his stream, he's a really, really funny guy. But this is going to be a tough one. I mean, there was a point in time where Shuttle was in an ASL finals. Feels like it was forever ago, but
God, that's right.
yeah. But man, I mean, Royal is very modern and very on top of Terran, so it's not going to be easy. Let's see what happens as we go into game number 2 here in Group B. All right, we've got our Protoss here at the very top, and in the bottom right is our Terran. And TVP on this map, I don't feel like I know too much about it yet. I feel like I might need to see a couple more games. TVP is a funny matchup because it gets very, very positional. Like, there's certain bases Protoss can take, and it's so hard for the Terran to ever kill. And then there's also locations where it's like Protoss can never expand there because it's too close to Terran. It's too punishable. So I always, at least for me, in my caster brain, I always need to see a couple games before I really have a feel for the map.
Yeah. This one, like, I mean, you have those 3 bases. They're kind of like all down ramps, so that could be a little bit tricky to hold on. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing kind of a gateway-heavy style from Shuttle. Maybe the like Reaver into Gateway Man. That has been, it was really popular like a month ago. I feel like it's rotating out a little bit right now, but like something like that where he's got a lot of units to play with, because Royal really likes technical openings. He really favors like heavy siege tank, and he takes like really quick third bases quite often.
Yeah.
So, I could see Shuttle potentially punishing him because of that.
Royal, I learned a lot from watching this guy. Like, for instance, the fact that Royal so often will take a third base really soon, and it's like on spot. It's not even a command center in his main.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to have really grasped when the Protoss have observers and when they don't. And Reavers, obviously, Reavers and Reaver dropping was always a thing, but Reavers are kind of more part of the core game now, always. Like, you see Reavers so often. But, you know, when you're going for Reavers, you're going to have less observers. You can only make either a Shuttle, a Reaver, or an Observer out of a rowboat, right? So when you get this Shuttle-heavy style, the Observers start to lag, and it seems like Royal was able to exploit that first by basically saying, well, you're not, you know, the Observer's a slow unit. It actually doesn't have a big field of vision unless you upgrade it. So Royal would just, like, run out there and just throw a command center down, and sometimes the Protoss would find out way later to be like, oh, God, you're actually, are we even on bases right now? I thought I was ahead of you.
Yeah.
Another thing that Royal did that it was so cool when we were casting him in the finals. He hit a base, and I mean, obviously, hidden bases have always been a thing, but something that I think you and I had never talked about. I never heard the conversation come up, but it like answered this question for me. As I saw that when he hides a base, he only makes 1 SCV for each mineral patch, so he can get the resources, but he doesn't overmake, because what if it gets spotted? Well, then you've made too many workers there, right? And so it was like a really interesting moment to see him do that. I'd talk about this more, but there's a Zealot already here.
Yeah, not just a Zealot, but a proxy pylon there. So very likely we'll see like a proxy robo or possibly proxy gates to try to bust this. And pretty smart from Shuttle, honestly. Like I said before this started, Royal really favors gasless expansions. So there are ways that you can punish that. It's a very safe build overall, but if you open with a Zealot and you follow up with like either mass range goon or a bunker bust with a Reaver, both of those can just win the game outright.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is absolutely a situation where I think Shuttle can win this. The Zealots already slowed things down so much. You know, we don't even have full mining at this base just yet. He actually kills a Marine even. And it was, I think it was Snow that showed us this first, but the idea is you slow crawl a Reaver over to their base. And it's like, you will blow up the bunker before siege mode is done. And without the bunker there, the Protoss is really, I mean, the Terran, is really weak.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard to win if you lose a bunker. And the thing is, you can't repair it because the splash damage kills the SCVs that are repairing.
Yeah.
So it's like a really bad situation. Now, there is the Proxy Robo. He even has a shield battery there, which is very, very uncommon.
Yeah.
Dude,
I've never seen that before.
Like, the odds of Shuttle winning this, Tasteless, I'm putting at, like, 90%.
No, I think you're right. I mean, he would have to, like, fumble the Reaver and Shuttle somehow. And I don't think that can even happen.
Well, yeah, with the placement of everything, too, like, you have that depot that's supposed to help against Zealots, but, like, you're losing that bunker 100%. You actually are going to need a second bunker to fall back to have time to get your siege mode done. You know, siege mode is going to start, like, right around now, and so we've got, like, a minute before there's going to be a tank with siege mode almost.
I mean, you can
tough.
try to rely on the Wallen. He would need to get... Okay, yeah, he's smart. He knows what's coming. He's making a second bunker. That actually...
Yeah, there it is.
That's the play. You know, I almost wonder...
It's not a great bunker, though. You can't get really behind it well to repair
If Shuttle
it.
just runs up there and starts hitting the bunker now, well, I guess it doesn't matter. The Reaver's here. Okay, well, we're getting started.
Oh, my God. He's not even going to be able to get Marines out, I think. Yeah, they all blow up.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Who cares about a bunker if you can't
Royal's
get any?
dead. Oh, my God.
Keep in mind, there's...
Like, that's...
No, I mean, this is a crazy day of upset Tastosis. And he's going to siege up.
It really, really
and the Dragoons
is.
can easily pick this off. It looks like he's not having them all targeted. I think he actually gave up Dragoon range with this build, by the way, to get all this stuff out fast. So it's rangeless Dragoons, but one Marine is going to be, oh my God, it's going to get inside the bunker, but I mean, who cares? The Dragoons are already in the main. I think even without a Reaver here, yeah, that's it. GG. Whoa. Whoa,
Well,
this day is crazy, man.
That was a very good... Yeah, that was good by Shuttle. That was really good. Like, he opened up with the Zealots. And, you know, again, here's the thing. This is another part of it being now a streaming culture. Like, I knew what Royal was going to do. You know what Royal was going to do, and he knew what Royal was going to do. He is really into these gasless expands, and Shuttle just insta-punishes it. And now, Tasteless, you can say what you said before. Royal and Snow, both of them cannot make it out.
Right.
One of them's being eliminated.
I just got a little ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this sucks for... Look at... Shot of Royal, so funny. That's the face you make when you know you have to fight Snow in the loser's match in a match in the round of 24. I don't know what to say, man. I'm speechless. I'm not tasteless. I'm speechless. I can't believe the games are going like this. I thought this was probably the most straightforward group out of all the groups we had. And so this means that it's going to be Killer or Shuttle who advances first. Now, did the SCV see this? Let's see what he actually spotted in here.
Nope, did not see.
He did see. That's far enough in there.
Oh, was it right on the edge of where the Nexus should be? That's why he built the second bunker. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
but
dude,
I
he
mean,
makes two Reavers?
The Reaver scare.
Look at that. Normally people make a Shuttle. That's really interesting. He just makes a second crawling Reaver because I guess the idea is like, no, we're just going to keep pushing into the main. Like, we know we're going to bust this down.
Yeah. Well, you know the timings, right? They can only have one tank here before 6 minutes.
Right.
So, like, if you break the bunker, like, that's really the backbone of defense. Like, you have to have the bunker. If you lose the bunker, the game is over. And, yeah, breaking through there immediately, targeting the SCV, so there was no chance of repair. The second bunker never got Marines into it. Very well executed. Very well executed here from Shuttle. I mean, a well-deserved victory, but that's wild that either Killer or Shuttle is going to win this insanely hard group.
Guys, coming up next, a PVZ to see who survives first in Group C of the round of 24. We will be right back. Hey, have a seat. Have a seat up there. ASL starting. We're back, guys. we're okay. Oh, they're not going to sit together. Okay, I thought they were all a group. Fine. Yeah, look, we are going to be... Did that guy have a boombox? What was he holding?
Dude, that was most certainly like a fluke case.
A fluke.
That
I
guy's
think he had a
carrying his flute around,
boombox.
man.
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to hold that up when Killer starts to play, and he's going to have his love song to him.
No way, man. Boomboxes are only for Terran 3 theme. You kidding me?
All right, guys. Well, it's been a very unusual evening. I think anybody who was like, I don't know, doing like the fantasy football version of StarCraft and trying to predict this, well, your bracket is boned because we have Killer and Shuttle in the winners match. I mean,
dude, best of one is a wild thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is a brutal format. It's why it's so important to get deep in the previous ASL season so you can avoid this madness.
So true. So true. Now, one of these guys, I mean, this is a huge opportunity for both of them. Killer already showed that he actually has a very solid ZVP. Even when his Lurker Rush didn't work out, he just macroed and he's patient and waited for his moment. But honestly, I've always liked Shuttle's PvZ. I am a little bit of a Shuttle fan, I realize. Every time I commentate, I'm like, no, guys, really, he is good. You know? Because he gets teased so much. But, like, I think he's got some pretty solid PvZ here. I'm not sure which way this is going to go. What do you think?
Something tells me Killer's going to take it, man. It's gonna be Group B with Calm all over again. Let's see if I'm wrong, guys. This is the winners match. Let's go. The guy screaming back there. It sounds like blood's coming out of his mouth. Whoa. All right, guys, we're into this game. Both players sharing the left side of the map. Shuttle in the bottom, Killer in the top. Both these guys, you know, they what they tried to do paid off. Here they are. It's important to remember that, I mean, it is still a very scary opponent to go to the final match if you can't win here. So, I mean, these guys are both very eager to kind of get out of this group.
No doubt about that. I mean, they already did both beat those guys before, so, you know, maybe their level is higher than we're giving credit for. But, you know, right now we're on Tempest, and this is a map with a ramped natural. So, normally when we see ramped naturals, normally when we see these, we do not see Hydra busts. It's just so much harder to bust uphill. So, a lot of times Protoss can play a little bit more greedy. And generally, we get into macro games more easily on maps like this.
Yeah, I think there's a sign for us there, but I didn't quite get to to see it. What was I going to say? Yeah, you're totally right, Artosis. Spot on. I mean, we don't have a lot of ramped naturals, but yeah, I mean, keep in mind, if you're someone that's more familiar with StarCraft 2, and then you poke your head into ASL, remember that there's chance to miss when firing up high ground. Whereas in StarCraft 2, you just have to get vision, and then it's a fair fight.
And it's actually very close to 50% mischance. So it's like
I think it's like 47 or something like that.
49.71 or something.
0.3 repeating,
something like that. Yeah. But it's you miss a lot of shots, and that's why we talk a lot of the times where it's like, oh yeah, you know, Lurker on high ground, like you don't try to attack into that. You know, the amount of shots you're missing is too much. Here, you're just generally not going to see any sort of Hydra bust because you simply are going to miss shots and the cannons are going to destroy you. So, you know, it does give us kind of more interesting macro games in some matchups. Like, I don't think every map should have a ramped natural, but I got to tell you, I like it for PvZ, and I like it for Protoss versus Protoss as well, actually. I'm a really big fan of ramped naturals for that matchup.
Yeah, no, I welcome it. I think you always have to rotate maps in that have these very defined differences because it does allow players to really experiment. And we get to learn about the race and how it's going to function and, you know, what advantages or disadvantages can come out, be bore out from that. So, you know, when you're not... When a rush, your natural isn't as strong, which, you know, generally PvZ, we see it's you know, a very doable thing. Let's see if Shuttle can cut even more corners here.
Well, it's already been a Nexus first, right, into that Forge, and he got the Gateway before the Cannon, so, like, it feels like he's doing a very good job thus far. Killer does take, you know, another base there, that third base up at the top of the map, but I think there's just going to be a lot of power in here.
I think you're probably right. I mean, we don't see a Hydra Den thrown down yet. I mean, this is basically what Shuttle's doing. He's just going to keep orbiting around the hatchery to try to confirm, okay, are you cheesing me? What's going on here? And so pretty soon that, you know, we're going to be past that point, and it looks like it's probably just going to be a pretty ordinary game.
Yeah, I do think so. Probably just get that Corsair out, get into some heavy macro as well. And I wonder how much...
whoa, okay.
Hydralisk Den actually goes down before a layer.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, he went probably even past the last second, if that makes sense. But, you know, and again, you know, we literally spent the whole start of this talking about how Hydra busts don't work very well if you're firing up from low ground on a high ground. But maybe the idea here from Killer is like, it's so counterintuitive, like it's so crazy, it might just work. And maybe Shuttle doesn't have the second cannon. He's already kind of dismissed this. There is a Zealot out on the map, and there are a lot of Lings coming forward here. I'm sorry, is there any Zealot blocking? Okay, there's one, but like one is actually not enough. Oh, the blocking is real.
Oh my god.
Until it's not.
So many Lings he's lost here. But he does get 4 into the main, and they do have speed, so he can definitely start to get some damage done. That was kind of comedic there, right? I can't believe like the quality of blocking Shuttle did, but also that he's been this greedy.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of wild. I mean, at first it looked like nothing was going to get through. Now there's a lot more here. He did make a den, but I don't see any Hydras moving across the map just yet. Good body blocking. You know, when you're fighting Speedlings, it's a very different fear than when you're fighting Hydras. And the idea when you're fighting Speedlings is you just have to clog up your entrance. Whereas when you're fighting Hydras, you need to mass-produce cannons. So I think we're on the verge of this actually working. Because if the cannon falls and there's Hydra Ling coming, not just Ling, Protoss is basically dead because the Zealots are too slow and they can't be really microed at all against the Hydras. I actually didn't even realize there's a cannon behind the Nexus too. So there's a second cannon back there, but I mean, the Hydras can basically hit the Nexus after they just kill the first cannon.
Yeah, with only one cannon kind of protecting here, it doesn't even hit down the ramp, so like the low ground almost doesn't matter at this point. He tries to drill up some probes. That's not going to work. Like, Shuttle's already dead, man.
Yeah, he's...
This is Killer just speed running this group right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is remarkable. The cannon's going to fall. Yeah, I mean, I think it's over. I mean, even with the cannons in the back, I mean, they can't actually protect the Nexus, right? So, like, oh, they actually can't even protect the pylon. Oh my god, this is the worst. You know, pylons, they're not often the target. I think we're just going to see Shuttle tap out.
Yeah, in a moment. More Hydras are coming right now. He's trying his best to eliminate these with his remaining probes. But, like, even if you kill off these Hydras, more are coming, and his economy has already been destroyed. Like, even if you hold the Hydra Rush, oftentimes Zerg can get into a macro game. From here, there's just really nothing left for Shuttle. He's trying to get some cannons in, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, he did get that other pylon up. There's 3 cannons. I think, yeah, that's a cannon that's being made over there. Well, never mind. Yeah, I mean, I think it's over. I think it's over even with the number of probes that were killed off here. He's going to kill that Forge and deny the upgrade. I don't know if there's a Forge that's been remade in the main. It wouldn't be the craziest thing ever. The Hydras are going to continue to trickle down here from the top. The gateway's going to fall. When the gateway's gone, it's a lot easier to just kind of move in. It's kind of weird. He didn't kill it. Okay, he's going to come in now. Maybe a little bit of a sloppy ending here, but it doesn't really matter regardless.
Yeah, the damage has already been dealt, truly. Killer with some good execution, once again, utilizing a lot of Hydras to beat down a Protoss player. And, I mean, is this going to be a Zerg season, is my question.
I mean, these underdog Zergs are stealing the show, Artosis.
Yeah. And that's a huge result, right? No one was thinking Killer to get out of the group.
No one.
Right, with players like Snow and Royal coming in, and then Killer advances in first place. You can see he's a little bit overwhelmed. I mean, great job by him. Some good build orders, some good execution. He played some solid StarCraft tonight. You have to give him his moment.
Yeah, you know, and I kind of like the counterintuitive play. You know, speedling into a later Hydra bus is really tricky. It's really tricky because, you know, just getting Lings into the main, it's already a nightmare for the Protoss because you know everything's going to get delayed and messed up. But the Hydra follow-up worked. You killed the first cannon, and the position crumbles. And so, super quick game. Killer staying true to his name. He's moving on to the round of 16. You know, another insane result. When you consider what this group looked like, you know, before the show started, and what it looks like now, this is just a stunning result.
Yeah, and that makes it tough, too. Don't forget, Shuttle has a lot of experience, so whoever comes up out of that insanely stacked losers match, you know, Shuttle does have some potential there to make another upset.
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth is that you need to, it's not just having cannons that lets you hang on. You need to have the cannons all covering each other and covering the entrance, or the position just falls apart. And, you know, this is a moment where I guess most of the cannons weren't powered. Yeah, it looked like, you know, Shuttle was doing his damnedest to try to hang on. They're actually almost even workers now, interestingly enough. So I guess it was a little bit closer than I expected. But, man.
It's too bad, too, because Shuttle had such a strong opener there with that Nexus first, but a little bit greedy as far as the cannons going down, and I mean, he awaits that final match, which is going to be a tough one.
All right, we're going to go to an interview now. Let's see how Killer's feeling. He overcame all odds. He is our first survivor of Group C.
ASL 시즌 16
The first player to advance from the Group C of round 24 is Killer. What a huge upset.
오늘의 1위 진출자
Let's have an interview
박준호
with
선수
Killer.
만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
아, 16강 무대 박준호 선수 무려
You're back in ASL season. You're back in ASL round 16 after 12 seasons, Killer. You must have dreamed of this moment.
예상하지 못했을 것 같아요.
And I don't think anybody expected this to
16강에
happen.
12시즌 만에 올라가셨습니다. 지금 기분이
How does it feel right
어떠실까요?
now?
솔직히 저도 제가 올라갈 줄
Honestly, I didn't expect myself to
연습은 진짜
advance to round
열심히
16.
했는데
I did practice hard,
확신이 없었는데
but I wasn't certain.
오늘 좀 약간 자리가 유난히 형이 어제 앉았던 자리라고 하더라고요.
But apparently, my seat is where Calm
김윤환
sat
선수의
yesterday. So
승리의
maybe
기운을 받아서 그
I kind of
자리에서
어제 좀
had
감동을
the winning vibe
받아가지고
from him.
올라가고 싶다 생각을 했었는데.
I mean, I was kind of inspired by him
좋았던 것
yesterday. So
김윤환 선수에
I think he
이어서
served as an
정말 박준호
inspiration for me.
선수가 이번 시즌 또 한 명의 이변의 선수로 올라섰습니다.
wow, what a great
무려
upset
첫 번째
from
경기에서
you.
장윤철 선수,
You took down Snow, the top tier player in the first match,
장윤철
to
선수의
make it to the winners.
경기에서도 인상적이었던 건 초반 럴커가 사실 큰 이득을 거두지
I mean, the lurkers in the beginning did not gain a lot of lead,
좀 전진을 병력시키면서 운영으로
but you
승리를 가져가셨습니다. 그때 좀
outpowered him with your
들어볼까요?
macro. So what went
그게 제가
through your mind back
실수를
then?
너무 많이 해가지고
I made a lot of trivial mistakes.
타이밍도 좀 늦어지고
during that.
제가 그리고 공업
My
실수를
timing was
했더라고요,
late,
chamber에서.
and I also made an upgrade mistake
힘들겠다
in the
싶었는데
chamber.
그 한 타이밍밖에 없다고
And I think there was
생각했는데
just this one timing I had to win, and then I grasped the
경기전
opportunity to win.
인터뷰에서도 나의 플레이 스타일의 강점은 공격력이다.
I mean, in your pre-match interview, you mentioned that your strongest strength was the aggressive playstyle you possessed. And we definitely got to see why that's your strength today. And also, I heard that you wanted to meet Shuttle in the winners, and that happened. So, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, this is the most ideal scenario I dreamed of, and I'm really glad Shuttle made the winners.
특별히 감사하나요?
아 근데 경기 전에 서로 얘기했거든요. 둘 중에 한
I
명
mean,
올라가자.
before the match, we talked with each other, and then we said, let's let one of us advance to round 16. I guess I'll be the first to go.
굉장히 감사와 약을 매와 약을 동시에 주시네요. 김윤정 선수의 경기를 또 좀 복귀해 보면
I mean, looking back
더블링이
on the match against Shuttle,
좀 오랜 상황으로 끝날 수도 있겠다라는 생각을 하고 히드라까지 좀
what was the reason you made the Hyras
이게
after the
뭔가
Zergling
준비했던 거보다는
got into his
큰 으로
base?
했는데
네.
I mean, it was kind of like an impromptu decision. I improvised.
그냥 이거는 좀 약간 그냥 프로브를 빨리 잡아서 한번 해봤는데.
I mean, I went for the strategy to get rid of his probes fast
날카로운 본능적인
to take the win.
움직임들이 결국 12시즌 만에 다시 16강 자리에 본인을
And now you're back in the round 16 after 12 seasons.
16강에서도 좀 좋은 모습을
So we look forward to your good
않을까
performance in the round
싶은데요.
16.
본인의 목표 다시 설정하셔야
And now you're gonna have to readjust your goal, right?
근데 제가 16강을 올라갔는데 어제 유난히 형이랑
I mean, I'm
마찬가지로
here in the round
영재가
16
노리고 있을
now,
것 같아요.
but I think JYJ, he set his eyes on me and calm. So I'm kind of scared by that, but regardless, I'll try my very best
본인의
to make it
예상대로 정영재
further
선수가
in
속해 있는
ASL.
A조에 16강에 가게 될지도 좀
let's
궁금하네요.
see how you perform in the later rounds.
하겠습니다. 끝으로 현장을 찾아주신 팬분들,
And lastly,
시청자분들께도 감사 인사 전해주시죠.
what do you want to tell your fans and your families, friends?
좀 도와주신 분들이 많은데.
I mean, there are so many people who helped me with practice. Noob, Bisu, Stork, JD, they've all helped me so much. So I want to say thank you to them.
그리고 제가 JSA에서 이제 나오게
And also,
됐어요.
I'm now no longer
인사를 제대로
in
못 해가지고
JSA,
조세
the AfreecaTV
그동안 고마웠다고
college
JSA
group.
고마웠다고
So I want to say my thanks to all the
팬분들께도 감사 인사
former friends
전해주시죠.
there in
뭐 기대 안
JSA.
하시는 팬분들이 많겠지만 한번 이번 시즌에 한번 이변을 만들어
So
보도록
I'm
하겠습니다.
sure the fans don't have high expectations for me, but I'm going to
다시
try my
한번
very
박수
best
한번
to make the
보내주시기
fans proud.
바랍니다.
Once again, congratulations on your win today,
다시
Killer.
한번 진출 축하드립니다.
We'll see you in the round 16. Thank you.
자, 이렇게
And
오늘
that's it
24강
for the interview
시즌에서
with
가장
Killer,
먼저
the first
16강에
player to
오른
advance from
박준호
Group C.
선수와 함께했습니다. 다음 경기는 패자전입니다. 장윤철 선수와 김지성 선수의 대결인데요. 두 선수의 대결 잠시 후에 함께하시죠.
우주급 텐션 최고의 토킹 핫식스 토킹.
너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
여름이 왔다. 마음껏 청량하자. 청량한 순간에 언제나 칠성사이다.
똑같은 하루에서 답답함을 빼면 더 청량해질 거야. 제로처럼. 우리 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살자. 칠성사이다 제로.
레전드 국가대표 손호찬님 모셨습니다. 반갑습니다. 스트리머의 입장으로서는 BJ 입장에서는 아프리카 사람 다 됐네. 오늘 작정하고 왔구나. 10원 괜찮아. 막 씨발 삼켜. 아프리카의 심장에서 아프리카 얘기를 하는 거야.
Welcome back, everybody. It is time to go eliminate one of these two players here in the round of 24. This is insane, by the way, that these two guys here. I mean, this is crazy to me. I could not imagine a round of 8 without both these guys in it. And now one's going to be, I mean, it's possible there's a world where both these guys don't make it, by the way. The Shuttle just beats whoever survives this. I mean, that could happen.
Absolutely, that could happen. It's kind of wild when you think about it. You can see really they're trying to focus here and get ready for this match. I think they expected to play each other here tonight, but in the winter match, you know, that makes this have so much more pressure on it. Both these guys probably looking for a championship this season too.
Yeah.
And this is like the hardest thing that you could do probably for both sides, right? Like as far as Snow, Royal has to be top 2 Terrans you want to avoid.
Yeah, at the same time, Snow seems to have such a handle on this matchup. It's like, is there any Terran that can actually beat him? I mean, he's smashing everybody, including Flash. So, I don't know, man. We're going to go to Tempest. Royal versus Snow. Starting up here. Get ready to say goodbye to one of these two players, because by the time this game's done, one of them is out of the ASL Season 16. All right, getting into our game here. We have both players sharing the left. It's going to be Snow in the bottom and Royal in the top. Real quick plug here, guys. We always try to mention this at least in one game out of all the games that we do here, because some people do skip in between the VOD parts that are not just StarCraft games. But if you do want to support us, guys, patreon.com/ASL English. We love you guys. We wouldn't be able to do without you. Sign up for a year if you can, and you get access to the Secret Tastosis podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate that. Do check it out. And may StarCraft and Brood War Pro Gaming live on forever. It is the most beautiful of all the video games.
It is the coolest thing. I remember being a kid and just watching, like, I first of all, nightmare to even get to, but to watch Korean TV on the internet on my computer. And watching stuff, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. I can't believe someone. Meanwhile, like, I would have, like, in America, I had G4, like, on cable, and I'm like, these guys, like, barely ever show games. Like, I'm like, why are we watching? What is Attack of the Show? Can we put some video games on here? Koreans were, it was like this whole thing where it's like a channel that's supposed to be about games, but it does a lot of weird tech review stuff. It was like nobody had the confidence to just put the game on TV, but the Koreans did. Yeah. They were like, no, the game can stand on its own. We're going to have a show about the game, and it's going to be a tournament to find out who's best at the game.
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing that exists in the whole world, as far as I'm concerned. Who's the best at this game, where you can completely express yourself, and you can never play perfect games or even anywhere close to perfect games, and you have to sacrifice certain things you're doing to do other things well. It's the most beautiful.
It's the coolest thing ever. And with the internet, the fact that we're all connected so we can all play against each other, so you really can get like a system in place where the best players can be, how do I say this? I mean, they found, discovered, and then filtered into a format where we get to get the best player. It is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Think about that next time you're out.
Like, there's nothing else, man. Anyone can play. Anyone.
Yeah. Anybody can get the game. I don't know, what is it, like $20? You get $20, play for years, decades, maybe you become the best. There's a way to crown you a champion. Now, in this case, this is the losers match. Think about this. Royal and Snow are losers, Artosis. They're losers, man. You know when you're at a party and you see somebody alone and nobody's talking to them? That's basically Royal or Snow right now, man.
That's both of them, actually. They should talk to each other. And in fact, they are, through the art of StarCraft. Yes. And in fact, both of them playing somewhat greedy builds. Snow with the Nexus First 1 gate, which is a great build for this map, because you do have that ramped natural once again. And Royal, a little bit safer than what he did against Shuttle. He did a 2-depot gasless expansion.
Right.
So that's just, it's a little bit safer. If your opponent makes a Zealot, you're going to be happy that you got the second depot. In this case, that didn't occur, but that's okay. It's only like your factory ends up like 5 to 8 seconds behind generally with this build, but that's, definitely playable. Good big macro openers from both sides.
Yes. Little shutdown there. The probe does see the command center. No mystery as to what the Terran's doing right now. It is wild, by the way, in the modern era, just seeing cannons early in PvT. Like, in the old days, like we're talking early on, like way before StarCraft 2, was even announced. The idea of ever getting a cannon in this matchup early was like the most newbie, scrubby thing. Like if you were Terran and you scouted a cannon, you're like, oh, he's bad. Oh, I've won the game. Like I see this one build and I go, oh, you're so bad and dumb that I will beat you and I will not rematch you because you made a cannon like an absolute buffoon.
Totally.
And then it's like,
and the funny thing is, it's good now, right? Like, do you do this build?
No, I with PVT, I basically do a gateway opening every time. I feel like fast expand's good, but you get a lot of people that are very good at rushing it, or they create these weird games that you have to be very good at all the little mini games that can occur with fast expand. Like if I fast expand and Terran doesn't attack me at all, I find the game to be pretty easy. But a lot of Terrans just have ways to try to end the game outright, and I feel like I can play a better game if I just get a Dragoon out. I can counter any weird Terran cheese, and there are a bunch of dumb, weird Terran cheeses they like to do. And I can, play a macro game and beat a good Terran. So that's where I'm at. So the truth is like I'm not that familiar with this build. I don't know the ins and outs of it that well.
Yeah.
But I know why it's strong.
Well, yeah. Let me elaborate for people a little bit on this build because it's evolved a lot. It appeared like a little over a year ago, but basically the cannon expansion, it stops any sort of Marine Vulture SCV attack.
Right.
And it also makes it so that, like, not only does it stop those things, but you never skip probes with this. So, like, against a regular factory expansion, you get up by about 7 workers.
That's crazy.
Which is absolutely absurd.
Wild.
It's like, yeah, it is the most workers that you will be able to get with Protoss is this build specifically. It can end up losing, like if you go quick robo like Snow is. If this was a 1 base 2 factory build from Royal, there's a decent chance he can break it, but obviously it's on high ground, so it's even harder. So it's like, well, you're probably not going to try that anyways. So I think Snow has chosen the absolute perfect build for this map, really, in this matchup. So he's going to be way ahead economically, but Royal did a gasless expand. This is basically the greediest build you can do as Terran, so I don't think he's going to be too sad about what he's up against, right? Like, this is not the scariest thing in the world.
Good turret there. By the way, we had the probe killed over there. We actually were zooming in on that probe earlier. I thought a Nexus was going to go down, like, really early. I'm like, my God, how quick can you get a 3rd Nexus? This is terrifying. The Shuttle ate enough damage. I was going to say that maybe he can't do anything with this. I'm sorry, is the Shuttle empty?
Okay, it's an empty shuttle. He's just scouting with it.
My bad. We were so caught up in kind of talking about the technical stuff with this build, I actually didn't realize that was empty. Okay. I was like, God, that's a really fast Reaver. That's crazy.
Imagine if he could get a Reaver out of that time with a Forge Nexus.
Yeah, no, that's...
but yeah, he is taking that 3rd base extremely fast. He's taking it right in the face of Royal, too. Like, right? It's very forward.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have been doing this if it wasn't for the fact that he basically got scouted or by the vultures and the worker was killed. Because, like, if I'm Terran, I'm like, I am going to push that spot.
Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky, right? Because Snow is going to have the Reavers, which is going to slow everything down. There's multiple terrain level changes where you're going up ramps to try to attack it. And obviously, as we were talking about before, economically, this is the strongest build that you can do as Protoss, even if it delays your units and your tech a little bit. But you can see here, Royal is going up to 4 factories. He's going to be getting his 2-1 upgrades as well. He just finished his starport up. So, like, he is going to be able to field a really large army as well.
So he can roam with that shuttle. I don't know if a Wraith is being made, but you got to be really careful. A Wraith, even though the shuttle with speed, a Wraith can actually track onto a shuttle and kill it. So he's going to see that this is coming out here, and he should probably just go ahead and run. I mean, try to get out of here as quick as he can, because once the Wraith is out, the harass is over. You could make more shuttles and dive in later on, but oh no, 3 vultures coming in here. Looks like he's got some Dragoons to deal with this, so this isn't going to be as bad as it could have been, but still.
Yeah, gets a little tiny bit done there. He's starting to figure out exactly what Snow is up to. Snow right now continuing forward with those Reavers, seeing what he can get done. Loses an observer there.
That was crazy.
Turret really is doing some heavy lifting this game.
Yeah, that's MVP.
But he will break through that bunker. Like, honestly, not that impactful, but Snow is just picking up little bits of damage here and there. He's very good at this type of multitasking, so I think it's smart for him to do.
Now, I think I saw a second armory made by that MVP turret.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's going to have a really powerful 2-base push. Just looking at the 2-base pushes that we had already, I keep thinking about what Mini did, which is the Reaver drop and the Storm drop. with Zealots, and then you kill the scanner. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I mean, if we have a Templar Archives come down here pretty soon, well, not the worst idea either.
I think he's going to be taking a third with this as well. Like, he's going up to 6 factory,
really?
But his economy is really strong, and he's playing against Snow, and like, you got to be really careful with the speed at which you're taking your third base against Snow specifically. Because he will, like, if he grinds your stuff down as you're trying to come out with those Reavers, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, there's the third command center. So it's like 6 fac, 2-1, take your third, which, you know, it sounds weird because normally when you talk about 6 fac, it's like, yeah, that's going to be a timing push. But with this gasless, it's like, no, he's just going to spend every single mineral, have a really big army, push out, take a third, not really be breakable unless he really screws up. So, yeah, I mean, I like the way that Royal's trying to play this right now.
I think that we're going to see the shuttles. Oh! We're going to see mass shuttles fly into the main here. I mean, everything that I'm watching right now tells me that, like, as the third base is going to be attempted by Royal, I think that Snow can outposition him. I think he can hit him in his main, and then maybe even with the Dragoons at the entrance come in and break that down too. Protosses have gotten so good at this mass shuttle style. It's so good. I feel like it's crazy that Protosses weren't doing this earlier. Like, it's so strong.
It really is. It's a great way to end up playing. But, you know, right now there's already 2 Wraiths, so I assume we're going to get a third in Cloak, very likely. You see some Vultures out here. They're not actually doing a very good job, to be honest. Okay, get a couple mines down. Like, maybe, okay. Don't want to overspend your Vultures, but I think overall that did turn out good with the mine hits. But yeah, as long as, you know, he has 6 factories, he can lay a bunch of mines in his main base, and he really should, because that is one way you can absolutely lose this, is the counter stab, like, gets you into the main base, and then suddenly you're in some big trouble.
Yeah, he's going to go around. I mean, this is a lot of tanks, but, you know, keep in mind when you send the Vultures out like we saw earlier, and they're killed off, you don't have the same kind of help back at home. Is he going to actually pick up Dragoons here? Whoa.
Maybe to block those Wraiths or something.
Yeah.
You know, I got to say, if there were mines in the main base, as there should have been, this would not be an issue right now.
Oh my god, he kills the shuttle. Okay, so, I mean...
But... like, the Reavers are still in here, busting up depots. The Vultures coming forward. Look at this. They turn and start to get some kills, kill another tank. Ooh. Even without the shuttle, his Reaver micro is second to none.
Oh my gosh, he's so good at controlling these Reavers. He's found a lot of great targets here. I mean, you got to hand it to the guy. But, I mean, he did lose the shuttles, and the Reavers, you know, they weren't saved. I do see some Templars out here. I'm having a hard time calling who's in a better spot right now. I mean, I think I'm not used to seeing Terrence grow this way either.
Yeah, Royal's builds, he macros up very quickly. You can see his supply is still really similar to what Snow has. I do think Snow is slightly ahead right now, especially if he storms That's so scary when you see that. Only 3 kills, so it's not the end of the world here for Royal quite yet. But he does need to secure this area. Again, I'd like to see mines in that main base. I think that was a crucial mistake here from Royal, because everything else he's doing is very good so far.
Ooh. Watching those Vultures take that much damage, it's kind of scary. Snow is now getting a second robo. This seems to be the norm, by the way, is to just get another robo. You need to have enough observers out, but be able to keep making shuttles without having to fear losing them. And we're going to see this storm, you know, speed shuttle storm drop style that is just so good. I feel like it's so strong I can't imagine it going away. Like, it's so different from the classic style of, like, you get one Arbiter and try to do a recall or a stasis. Like, this is just... There's so many more moments where you can storm and take a fight where it's like, otherwise you're just relying on an Arbiter not getting EMP'd, you know? It's a good style of play.
You know, I think it's the highest skill cap style for Protoss for Terran.
Yeah, I think so.
It's just like, it takes way more skill to do. And if you can do it well, it's incredibly strong. It's the best fighting composition that Protoss has.
I think so.
So you can battle for like every inch of the map instead of have just one big engage. And that's something that Snow is particularly good at, is battling all game long. Now, Royal, you mentioned before watching the Vultures run around and take so much damage. Like, he's picking off some probes here. Okay, he did delay that Nexus there, so that's kind of nice. But it does feel like he's maybe slightly overspending his Vultures, right? It's a little bit sloppy. Like, why are we running around with 8? We could do this same exact thing with 4 and turn them around more easily and things. So I do question just a couple small things here for Royal. But you know what? He's got his 3 base. He's got 2-1. 3-2's probably started. You know, he's making this kind of like Empire of Terran right now. But he is going to have to think about either pushing or getting a 4th base, or realistically both.
Big trap up there. Closed in on all those Vultures. Yeah, when you see Vultures coming out in these big control groups, I heard Flash say this once, I thought it was so interesting, is like, I mean, anytime you do that, you got to remember that your main push is going to be smaller and later. So, you know, when you see Vultures come out too often for too long and they don't get anything done, the Protoss is getting a little bit more comfortable. I mean, it sounds weird, but the Vultures, you need them to soak damage so that the tanks don't take that much damage. And here comes another big drop. Wow, EMP on the 1 Templar that was dropped out over here.
Yeah. Definitely a good EMP there. I gotta say again though, Tastosis, like, why aren't we just putting a few mines in here?
No, you're 100%
kind of hurting
right.
my soul.
You're completely right, Tastosis. And by the way, this is a very well-timed drop. The shuttles mostly were, I guess they're empty, they're not killed off, but there's a drop over here that's going to be really, really tough with just an A-moving army to pick off.
This is a great move. Anytime you can do a tactic like this, you know, I think some of the Vulture movements were to help set something like this up. He kind of had mines all over the place. But if you can deny a base, it looks like he won't quite deny. He decided to get a little bit greedy and harass the probes at the same time. So to be honest, I would have preferred that he just forces the cancel on the Nexus rather than, what did he get there? 4 probes?
Yeah, I think I think that killing the Nexus is more important. When you're up this much, you can go to like each Nexus and do up 2 probes and get back to where you need to be. But I think Snow may be in trouble when it comes to this next push. I guess there's been another drop here in the main. Nice defensive matrix here. You know, the issue when you're just dropping Zealots like this is the Vultures are better at fighting them.
You know, that's why it can be so good to have the Reavers too, right?
Yeah.
Like, Reavers are so good.
Oh, I mean, it's crazy.
They can blow up 5-6 Vultures at a time.
Sometimes you just get a shot. It's like, I killed 6 Vultures. That's great. That cost me, you know, what, 15 minerals to make that Scarab? Okay.
It's pretty efficient.
Pretty good.
Efficient. Now, Snow is going to go ahead and try to attack into this 3rd. All the units of Royal kind of got out of position there. The Barracks taking a lot of damage and buying him a bit of time. Zealots, ooh, a nice storm there on the SCVs that are retreating as well. But overall right now, Royal has a lot of siege tanks.
Yeah. The siege tank accumulation is getting scary because, and the easiest way to look at a PvT is like just see how many siege tanks they've gotten or how many they've lost, because the siege tank is actually a better unit than the Zealot or the Dragoon, especially if you can get a bunch of them snaked out and sieging up like this, especially when they have upgrades. By the way, no armor upgrade, no shield upgrade here. I assume that there's an attack upgrade. I'm sorry, an armor upgrade just finished here. That was a good storm, but I'm worried that Snow can't remake it quite in time. There's more shuttles, I think, ready for a drop. Or not. I guess they're empty. He's going to send them back.
It's a crazy game right now. Like, Royal's army looks so good. It is taking some damage. Snow is trying to whittle it down with those Psy Storms. He has to be careful here, though, because if you get in range of this army, it is going to splatter you.
Okay, so he does get another kill on that tank. I mean, one of the ideas from the Protoss with this style of play is that you keep chucking out Psy Storms, and the Terran can't A-move. Kind of like we're actually seeing him do right now. Like, if he had some Storms ready, he could blanket that like it's a bunch of Hydras and kill it. And then you drop, just like that, you drop the Templars out, you look for a target, you throw a Storm down in there, but it is easier said than done. If you A-move in with your army too much, even if you damage all the tanks, all the Dragoons and Zealots die. And I think we're almost at that point here with this game where this is like starting to get really, really uncomfortable here. Oh, storming mines that miss. That's rough.
Well, you know, I do have to say, like, both of them have, like, pretty reasonable economies right now. If Royal is trying to go around and stamp out some of these Nexuses, and as he kills them, you know, Snow's going to have a much harder time rebuilding. But he still does have that big economy. So if he can break the full push, like if he could kill all these tanks, I could definitely see him taking some serious control of this game.
I think that Royal's about to win. I think he basically, when the tanks get too deep in, it doesn't matter if you're good with storming because your nexuses are going to be obliterated. You know, like it's really hard to fight. Maybe there's a way that Snow comes back, but I am starting to really feel like, especially with that 4th base at 12 o'clock, like how does Royal lose?
Yeah, no, it's tough with the 4th base actually secured. You know, the 3rd base still has enough minerals that he's got the 2 base production going. Their supplies are even right now, and he continues to just kind of march forward.
Oh.
Really? Oh, man. Losing that shuttle up at 12 o'clock so painful.
You know there were Templars in there.
He needs to get that additional damage.
Okay, so the probes are going to have to evacuate. There's a counterattack. Well, look at that. That is just butt naked. That base has nothing at it.
Yeah, that's he's definitely going to have to get some units up there ASAP. But this is only Dragoons. It's honestly not scary. Like, just random Terran rally point attack move is going to be able to push this back. Even brings in some Vultures for flanking. Tasteless, the best Protoss in the world, is going to go out in the round of 24 without a win.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, almost over. I think Royal played a really smart game development-wise. And, you know, I think I'm as surprised as everybody else. It's always weird when this happens where I'm like, am I crazy? I mean, am I the only guy that thinks Snow's this good? Like, he is, like, regarded as the best Protoss right now, but, I mean, this is the round of 24. He's not even going to make it to the round of 16 unless something really crazy happens in this game. I don't think it's coming.
Yeah, you know, he actually played Royal in a 9-game series, and if I recall correctly, he went 8-1 against him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a best of one. All you need is that one win. So, you know, Royal picking it up at the right time. But you're right, he had a really good game plan. Like the 6 factory, 2-1 into 3rd base, just securing everything, very methodical, did some harassment, got his 4th base up. And, you know, Snow is still fighting. He's trying to grind everything down with Psystorm. But he's lost so many Nexuses now. His economy is pretty weak. At the same time, he has actually gotten rid of 12 o'clock, right? No more mining there, but SCVs go to the top right.
Oh my God, if he could get a Psystorm off on this, that would be insane. This is the exact... Oh! Templar sniped.
Yeah, just not enough. Not enough
that Templar
energy
was literally
on those,
me. You just heard me die there. I'm like, by the way, that was a crazy transfer to the top right. That was a lot of SCVs he sent over there. I think that some of those might have been evacuating from 12 o'clock, but I do want to point out, this game is not over yet. Snow has reclaimed the original base that was killed off during the push. Terran is back to trying to stabilize, and it's just Vultures over here at the far right. If
he could get all those SCVs, like at the top right, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he loses the rest of his probes at the bottom right there, so Snow's economy, as you can see, it's like going up so slowly right now, man. He's really got nothing. The supplies are similar for the moment.
Oh my God.
But this is important. This Reaver drop is important.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a lot of kills.
Oh.
So always knows where to fire those Scarabs. Maybe not that one we just saw, but and the issue now, I think we actually have to reevaluate this game, Tastosis. I think that we are seeing Royal so on his back foot, and I don't believe there's any tanks with the Vultures that are roaming the bottom right. The hidden base, it just is not going to be a base anymore. I don't think Terran's going to be able to land that and then just send SCVs over there. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, everybody. There are 2 tanks here, which means the push over at 6 o'clock continues on.
Yeah, and that's one of his last real mining locations. I guess he still has some patches in his natural, and he retook his 3rd. But, like, you know, if Snow had 2 solid mining bases, I would give him a better shot. But as is, like, sure, you're slowing down Royal's mining, but overall, he's got these fantastic upgrades. He's got a good spread. Look at that defense. You're never going to bust 12. Now he's rallying everything into his 3rd. And, you know, as this gets set up, you're not going to be able to break that anymore.
Everything you said is true, but Terran has no more push potential. And even though Protoss is down in supply, which is like really a bad sign in this matchup, if he could get maybe a really sick Scarab, a good Storm or two as this army pushes out, maybe he can pull it off, but he has to do it like right now. Oh, this Templar. Okay, he does get the Storm out.
The D-Matrix, though, so strong as a counter to that Storm. And more tanks are coming. He has the speed shuttles, but like, look at this with the +3 attack and the +1 armor. It's such good upgrades for Terran. Just continues to push forward here. Another attempt at a bust at this base. That third base location has been shut down a few times, but the overall army size from Snow is just not big enough to demand respect from Terran.
Yeah, you're completely right. I think we're at the point where there's not a critical mass of units that can like can do anything. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
I'm seeing like 3 Dragoons here, 3 Dragoons there. Yeah, I think that we are in the death throes of this game here for Snow. I think there's no way to recover. I think even the base he saved at 6 o'clock is probably pretty low on resources. He never was able to reclaim the bottom right. So Royal has killed Snow. I think it's kind of I mean, so far in ASL, this is the most unbelievable result. We'll see if anything can happen from here on out. He is, oh boy, not bad.
It's a sick Storm.
Yeah,
it's a great Storm, but it's just there's no supply left. Snow, like if he was playing Micro Wars, 100% he wins because he's definitely microing really well with these tiny groups of units. But if you don't have the muscle to break a position, that is it.
Wow.
GG. Snow is the first player eliminated. Killer is the first player out of the group. I don't know what's what anymore, Tasteless.
I'm like, Artosis, I just looked at my window and it's snowing. Everything is not the way it should be. Man. What?
Yeah, this is an insane result, and like Snow is going to be pretty hard on himself for this, right? This is his best matchup. He is unbelievable at it, and to take this loss against Royal after losing a PVZ where it looked like he was winning as well, that's rough, man. Like, you go into a season like this with the level Snow has, and you're really thinking about maybe making a run at that championship, but he is one of the first players eliminated.
I am in total disbelief. I mean, I guess, look, somebody had to lose, but even the way that Snow lost, he lost a long, drawn-out PVT. I mean, how many games do you see Snow fall to that? I got to say, Royal played a very, very intelligent early game and exhibited a lot of patience and kind of let the Protoss speed in and overextend. And when those tanks came out, man, it was not the most difficult push in the world. Snow almost brought it back, though. That was pretty sick, too.
Yeah, he definitely did fight tooth and nail for this. Gotta say, yeah, that big transfer of SCVs was pretty sick to the top right, by the way. Like, as this came in, he's like, no worries, command center top right, and kept his economy actually flowing because, look, like right here, Snow's up a lot of supply, but we just have a very good SCV count here for Royal, which he maintains.
Yeah, well, you know, those Vultures were picking off SCVs the whole game. This is where the Tasteless Templar died over here. Get ready. He had 75 energy, but
no.
Well, I mean, Royal, he's got to do one more PVT. Shuttle can win this, but Royal should win this.
Yeah, well, you just saw Royal's TVP is of a very high quality. He's extremely good at TVP macro. Got himself a lot of units there and was able to eliminate Snow. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, final match of the night.
우주급 텐션, 최고의 토킹, 핫식스 토킹.
너도 탐세봐 탐세
여름이 왔다. 마음껏 청량하자. 청량한 순간에 언제나 칠성사이다.
똑같은 하루에서 답답함을 빼면 더 청량해질 거야. 제로처럼. 우리 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살자. 칠성사이다 제로.
레전드 끝가리죠. 손호찬님 모셨습니다. 반갑습니다. 스트리머의 입장으로서는 BJ 입장에서는 아프리카 사람 다 됐네. 오늘 작정하고 왔구나. 10원 괜찮아. 막기가 삼켜. 아프리카의 심장에서 아프리카 얘기를 하는 거야.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're now ready to go into this final match. It's going to be Royal versus Shuttle. Snow's already been eliminated, and Killer was the first to escape. So here we are. Crazy group.
Yeah, and we're going to be going into Retro. So a little bit of a different map. Nothing too standard here. You know, kind of a low resource map.
Yeah.
So how will they end up approaching that? And is Royal going to stay on this gasless train?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question. It's a good build, but it can be dangerous, especially in best of ones in groups like this, where we've already seen what you can do to beat builds like this. I mean, the Crawling Reaver response to this is extremely strong. It's not that hard to do. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be it.
And just to be clear too, you can stop that. You can win against that, but it's very, very hard. Whereas a factory expand, you're kind of invincible against everything, but you don't get ahead economically.
Yeah,
so
factory expand is like kind of safer in every way, but it doesn't, catapult you ahead. I'm like, I got this, Tastosis. I'll tell him.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Protoss player. All right, guys, we're going to go into the final game, see which player is going to move on to round of 16. All right, guys, we've got our two players here sharing the top. Terran in the top right and Protoss in the top left. And Tastosis was mentioning this earlier, but like, there's not a lot of bases on this map, if you look closely.
Yeah.
Most maps have like 25% more bases or more. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means for this game, but it's something to watch for. You know, Protoss can't take a ton of bases on the other side of the map and last that long.
Yeah, so basically, okay, I actually talked a lot with... this is hilarious. So he is blindly hard countering gasless expansion. If this turns into a one depot gasless expansion, Shuttle will probably just win.
Does he two-gate here? Is that the plan, or do you one-gate into gas?
I think he'll go one gate. Like, with one gate, it's still playable against other positions. With two gate, it's like, okay, well, you better win right now.
Yeah. Well, there's the first gate. Does he scout? No, it's two gate.
God.
It's two gate.
Proxy two gate. Shuttle wants that round of 16. He doesn't care how he gets it.
Shuttle is going for Royal's watch and wallet. This is... No.
Oh, okay. This was maybe... he could have been thinking about it, but also sometimes you delay scouts to try to not give away what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in if you proxy two barracks, you wait for the first Marine to finish to send your SCV to make it look like a normal timing.
Yeah, because if it gets there too soon, it's like, what's happening? What are you doing? Why is your work right on the map this soon? So keep in mind, Royal is not going for that command center first build that we were talking about, that he's been doing so much. He's changed it up into a more textbook opening, which is the classic barracks and refinery. But there's going to be Zealots coming at him right out of the gate. It's not going to be easy.
But this is what you want against this as Royal. Like if he had his barracks down in the natural, he would be very close to dead already. But as is, like, this is the type of build where you can deflect that Zealot really quickly. You know, you get into your factory, and if you just make Marines nonstop and then like one Vulture, you gain control, and you can go ahead and you can like make a bunker on the low ground, or you know, decide to attack, whatever it may be.
Now, the SCV's just got to find this. I mean, the Zealot coming in here, you know, but it's nice to see where the gateway is, and you know, sometimes you can use the SCV to attack the pylon and try to force them to defend. He's actually going to go for a second hidden pylon here, probably for a robo. Keep in mind there are a lot of variations of this build, and so this is one of the trickier ways to play. But you know, so much emphasis gets put on like holding off the ground play, when actually there's going to be a huge drop coming in. And you know, a lot of times when you see Zealots like this, a Terran player will say, "Well, I need a Vulture." Because that's going to be better at fighting Zealots. But then the Reaver comes and, oh, what? I'm sorry, guys. Citadel.
Reaver tasteless. That would almost be an honorable one base build.
Yeah, he's going to go for the DT play. Okay, I know this build because I actually do this. Yeah, you can get Dragoon range. In this case, he's going to hide that Citadel. But you can make this work. This can be very doable. The Dragoons can generate enough pressure, and a lot of times mines get neglected in games like this.
Yeah, that's very true. And you want to get your command center before you make any turrets, so that can be tricky as well. Comes up and actually snipes that probe immediately. Let's see how many he can end up getting. You know, he sees the second gate in here, he sees range. That's pretty standard stuff. Like, you're used to seeing that after one proxy gate. But, oh my god, this is a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, even just a couple probes here, 3 probes, you're so low on probes when you do a build like this. This is bad news for Shuttle.
No, this is so bad. Is this SCV going to scout this, by the way? Oh my god.
No.
This is where you pause the game and you accuse him of map hacking. Oh my god. But then you say, no, you tried to make it look like you weren't map hacking because you didn't go there right away. Oh my god, you didn't see it?
That's crazy. That was so close. He has 2 SCVs scouting the map.
What?
I can't even.
Okay. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm convinced he's map hacking. The way he did that was too suspicious.
All right. There's no way. He's just a map hacker trying so hard to make it look like he's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so he instantly fully walls, because when he got in there, it was already finished, so he doesn't actually know the timing it finished. Like, if you see, for instance, the Dark Templar tech actually finishing, then you can put a timer in your head how long until a DT gets there. As far as he knows, a DT was about to pop out.
Right.
So full wall, immediately, very, very smart. He's making this eBay, and he just needs to get a turret up.
Now, this, despite all this infrastructure being out on the map, this game's not over. Protoss can play from this position. Now, hold on a second. Can he just, like, drag a mine on that?
He's gonna try.
Oh my god!
Okay, well, actually, that went well for Royal.
Yeah.
That was not good for Shuttle. I like the idea of, like, hey, let's push our luck here, but doesn't work out. And yeah, you're right. It is kind of playable, actually, for Shuttle. Like, this definitely can go on. Like, Terran's blocked it, but it takes a long time from this position to take your expansion.
Yeah, unfortunately, another Vulture gets out on the map. You know, with this build, a lot of times you'll see one gateway made at home, so you can kind of always intercept the Vulture that tries to come out. Oh, I'm sorry, there's actually 3 gateways on one base. That's what was confusing. I thought he made the other gateway. Oh my god, he's going to go for it again.
This is insane. He just wants the damage of the DTs to work. Oh god, a mine hits him right there as well. I can't even believe that he's trying this, but it's kind of working.
I mean, it is working. He's going to be able to kill the turret.
Oh my god. What am I looking at here? Look at this. That DT has like no health. Okay, he did have a scan, so he scans and takes it down. And he loses that tank as well. Dude, this is the craziest. I don't have any, like, this is the dirtiest ladder match I've ever seen.
This is wild, man. Yeah, he's got enough SCVs. He doesn't have to fret. The Vulture gets in the main Artosis. The DTs are going to come up. The DT does not pull the mine. Oh my god.
Oh, but DTs have such damage output, they can definitely kill a tank.
That's the thing.
Oh, he kills the Vulture.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's got 5 HP. Oh my god, he killed it. The dice go down.
I can't believe I'm watching a DT micro against a single siege tank and 3 SCVs. Look at this. Okay, he surrounds it and does get that kill. Another DT just walking in casually here.
Yeah, I think that the turret might just be out of range of the DT, but the thing is, this is a fight thing. Is a lot of times people think when they see the DT that they win, but that's not actually true. The DT does so much damage. If you're very low on stuff, the DT can fight. This is something that can even happen with Zerg, where you see like, okay, he's got to run. I mean, this is like the Terran's worst nightmare. He has he has 2 scanners because he made a second scanner in his main. Right now, what Shuttle's doing is he's using Zealots to soak up spider mines, excuse me.
Yeah, but with speed vultures, like if you just make only vultures from here, I can't see the DTs doing anything else. Like you can't even really make dragoons because if you let up on this pressure, then mines get down and the dragoons can't just walk through there. So honestly, ooh, that was a nice block.
Yeah, that was really good.
Honestly, this is starting to look to me like a royal victory. Like this type of position where you can just make pure vulture, it just becomes so much less scary.
Yeah, he baits out another scan. Look, here's the issue, though. Terran can't land their expansion. Not for a long time. There's not scans available. The turrets haven't even been pushed up to the edge. And he's basically just trying to force scans every time. The Vultures get under, but again, you got to be careful. You got to stay out of range. Oh my gosh.
Dragoon coming up here as well now. Trying to counter those Vultures at least a little bit. I believe he doesn't have range still. By the way, I think this is a non-range game.
It didn't even occur to me, yeah. You're probably right.
Yeah, he's spent so much on DTs. Like, there's actually been like 10 Dark Templars made this game.
Oh, probably even more than that.
And yeah, dude, this is absolutely wild. Neither of them able to expand yet. There's actually a mine in Shuttle's natural. So he can't, yeah, he's making range now. He can't even go down and make a Nexus.
Now, we should point out, Dragoons can micro versus mines. It's really hard to do. It's really dangerous. But, like, in theory, you could, like, you know, tap dance up to the mines, fire them down, and try to gain ground. But it's very dangerous, and you have to have all the mines memorized, like, where they are. He's going to go for a kind of more of a straightforward approach and just basically send the Zealots through to take damage. The command center lands. So, despite Royal being on the verge of death, he lands his command center. He has an extra base. And Shuttle doesn't. And we're kind of at the point where it seems like Royal has all the tools necessary to not die. Although Shuttle is kind of redefining what can and cannot be done in this matchup with the way that he's just kind of dashing in to hyper dangerous positions and then somehow winning fights. But I really look at this and it's hard for me to imagine this winning for Shuttle. And again,
well,
go ahead.
He skipped the Nexus.
Yeah, no, he
skipped the Nexus.
He's still in bust
I agree
mode.
with everything you said. Yeah. Oh, and now he makes the Nexus?
Huh.
Honestly, I don't know what the plan is. It's so many Dragoons. Okay, he's going to drag mines with the Zealot, and the DT actually takes hits as well. Dude, oh man, this is... There's no way.
No.
Shuttle has more than enough. He is never going to die to this.
Yeah, this is... there's no way he's going to get in there. He drops a couple more Dragoons. You know, I was going to say, if Terran really wanted to just ensure this, like, land your eBay and your barracks at the entrance, like, fully wall it in. There's just no way they're going to get in there. It's 12 minutes into this game, Tastosis, and the Robo just started. I mean, there's not an observer. It's going to be in this game for a little while longer even.
Yeah, these Dragoons getting trapped as well. You know, Royal's on like 3+ factories. He's got siege, speed, mines. This is like any Terran would like to play from this position. Look, he's a 30 supply even right now. This just looks very, very good for Royal. I don't know how Shuttle is ever going to hold a push from Royal coming up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a much easier game here from the Terran's perspective. If you could jump into, you know, a chair of one of these players and you wanted to win, you'd always want to take Royal's position. This is so bad for Shuttle. Shuttle, excuse me, Shuttle doesn't have, well, I mean, you have DT tech, although I guess that just went away with the attack over there at the center right, but DTs are not like Reavers or anything where like they kind of have this special utility in like mid-game fights. When Terran has enough, the DTs are just not that good. We already saw what happens when Terran has very little, is the DTs can just run up and, you know, 1-hit or 2-hit things and kill them. I think we are in the twilight of this game now. I think that Shuttle is going to get pushed. I think he's going to get killed. I think the gateways made all over the map did him no favors after the crazy attack failed. And I don't think we're going to be in here for much longer.
No, you're definitely right about that. This is just way too much coming out of Royal. Look, this even takes this high ground position, just rallying in Mass Vulture. He has 5 factories. What is he playing against? Like 2 gates? There's no way. You never, ever, ever hold this as Shuttle. And, you know, he got super cheesy this game. He took some risks, kind of thinking Royal would keep playing the same way, and Royal mixed it up and has been able to hold everything. So I think that's going to be it. Like, this push is not stopping.
This push is looking scary, and to be honest, I think you could win this without Siege Mode or Spider Mines. I think you just walk right in there and kill him.
You're right.
But, I mean, I get it, Royal.
Just attack move literally kills. You're definitely right about that.
Maybe a little too fancy for what's actually necessary here, but we're going to see Shuttle tap out because it's just physically impossible no matter what he does to combat what Terran already has.
Another turret gets started. GG is called. Shuttle unable to finish the night of upsets, and Royal will squeak out in second place from this group.
So our 2 Protoss players die out. Royal survives. Let's not forget the Killer managed to make this such a crazy group. And of course, Snow. I mean, he was eliminated a little bit earlier, but Royal, I think he did a great job. He had a very tough group today, and he overcame the odds. He beat Snow, and then he survived that crazy rush. That's an unforgettable early game, by the way. I was on the edge of my seat during that.
Seriously, no idea what was going to happen there. And like when he started coming up the ramp and trying to drag mines and fighting tanks with the DTs, it's like, is this guy the smartest Protoss ever or the dumbest Protoss ever? Really hard to say, but he had that killer instinct. It just didn't work out this time.
Yeah, I mean, it was... I don't know, it was a fun set of games today. I mean, what a bunch of crazy upsets we're having. We're just now finishing up Group C, but I mean, Group B and Group C were wild, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm stunned. This is going to be a very different ASL season, I'll tell you that.
It certainly is. You can see, like, the Vultures getting in, by the way, did so much to Shuttle. You're really low on probes in a game like this, so, like, even losing 2-3 units, 2-3 probes is just terrible.
And this is the thing is, you know, DTs, they're not that fast, but the truth is, like, when you just have, like, a Marine or a tank or a Vulture, this is no longer a game of detection. It's just, like, it's a fight the DT can take. And it's something you don't get to see that often, but it is a very real thing. And there's every once in a while you'll have a game where it's like, you can watch a player think like, oh, it's actually not really about my detection. Like, look at this. He can basically run up and moving shot and just kill a tank and then run back out.
Yeah, DTs are kind of hilarious when they start actually just fighting straight up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that they're invisible anymore. That was a good move to pull him over into that mine as well. But Yeah, when you're down to that few units, Vultures just can out-micro everything.
Yeah. It's out of this world. We're going to go to an interview now. Let's see how Royal's feeling. He is survived, Group C.
The second player to advance to the round of 16 from Group C is Royal. He makes it to the final match and he wins there to secure a spot in the round of 16.
쉽게 올라갈 수 있을 것 같다는 많은 분들의
A lot of fans
예상에도 오늘
expected you to make an easy advancement to round of 16, but it turned out it wasn't too easy today.
16강 자리에 오르셨는데요. 일단
How are you
소감을 좀
feeling today?
들어볼까요?
근데 이게 진짜 솔직히 패자전에서 윤철이 형을
I mean,
만날
honestly,
거
I
생각을
did not
못했는데
expect to play against Snow in the losers.
진짜 이거
And when that happened, you know, I thought I was doomed.
다행히 딱 이기는 순간 그래도 이제 올라갈 것
And as soon as I won against him, I had a feeling that I would win the final match as well. I definitely came back from the depths of hell.
김지성 선수의 모습 참 오랜만에 보는 것 같습니다. 김지성 선수가 ASL 내에서 토스전이
I mean, Royal, in the ASL, you always mentioned that your the TV key was a difficult matchup for you, and you had to go through 3 of them today, 3 Protoss matches.
감회가 남다를 것 같아요.
안 그래도 제가 뭐 우승할 때 저거전만
I think back when I won ASL, you know, a lot of fans were underestimating me because of how I only played against Zergs. But I think I proved them wrong today, so that feels good. I mean, it's true that in the past I wasn't so good against Protoss players, but now I kind of fixed that. I am stronger against Protoss now. So yeah, I was quite confident in the TVQ matchup.
허를 찔렀을 때는 조금은 머릿속에 혼란스러웠지 않았을까 하는
And it feels
생각이
like you were quite taken aback when you defeated by Shuttle's walking Reaver strategy. Yeah, I realized that late.
생각보다 너무 빠르더라고요.
It was a lot faster than I expected.
허무하게 지긴
That was a bitter loss for me.
그리고 뭐 어쩔 수 없는데 다행히 올라갔으니까.
Yeah, I guess that's how it is, but you know, I'm really happy that I ended up making the final match.
선수의 뭔가 이상함을 끊임없이 감지하셨던
I mean, the final match, you definitely, it felt like you were not letting your guard down. You were aware of everything going around you.
언제 지어졌는지 정확히 몰라가지고. 이거 입고 막기 전에.
I mean, yeah, I didn't expect the DTs to come in from the 3 o'clock decision. I was in a hurry to defend my entrance, but luckily for me, the Templars didn't come into my base too early. I had enough time. But had I not blocked my entrance in time, I would have definitely got defeated by him.
선수가 노련한 경기 운영 끝에
But
승리를
in the end, you were able to secure the win with your impeccable play style.
쉽지 않았던 경기들이
You're
이어졌던
like
것
sweating right
같은데요.
now. You must be really exhausted.
24강이라는 찬을 넘어서
And now that you are past the round of 24, and now that you're secure your round of 16,
많기 때문에 기준 선수가 훨씬 좀 여유롭게
you should be able to have a more comfortable performance in the round of 16, right?
24강이 뭔가 제일 고비일
I mean, I do think that the round of 24 is the most difficult for me this season.
이번에 좀 높이 올라갈 수 있을
I think this season I think I can reach higher.
김지성 선수가 다시
in
한번
ASL.
결승 무대를 밟게 될지도 아마 팬분들은
Well, the
기대하고
fans
계실 것
are
같습니다.
expecting
오늘
to see you in the finals again this
동료분들도
season.
정말 많이 찾아와 주셨어요.
And there are so many fans, so many
감사한
friends
분들이
here
많으실
at the
것
studio. So anything you want to tell them?
일단 그 연습 도와준 선수가 4명 있는데
I want to thank all my practice partners.
현재형, 수철이
Minnie,
형,
YSC,
그리고 상현이,
Soma.
유진이 선수 이렇게 4명이
Yeah, I want to thank all the players for helping me with practice.
오늘 여기 DP 쪽 멤버들한테
And also I want to thank all the 5 friends
덕분에 힘이
who
너무
have come here to visit me today.
그리고 아마 저도 그 짭제 선수랑 똑같이
And just like Soma, I think this might be my last season before my military enlistment. I want to try and reach the highest possible round before I go to the military. Well, once again, congratulations on your win today, Royal. We look forward to your performance in the round 16. Thank you. And that will be it for our second winner of Group C, Royal, as he moves on to round 16.
All right. Excuse me. All right. That is that, guys. Killer and Royal survive. Group C was a wild one. It was one I think nobody could have predicted.
Yeah. Pretty impressive to see how well the Zergs are doing this season so far. The Zergs just absolutely cleaning up. Protoss is seeming to have a little bit of a hard time, right? Like, we already had Rain eliminated, and now we have Snow eliminated. I mean, that's 2 of the very best in ASL history.
Yeah, it's funny because the Protoss lineup was so exciting that I thought we were going to kind of be guaranteed to have all those guys advance here. So yeah, no rain, no snow. Even Shuttle going down is a pretty big deal. I mean, if you've been following ASL since the beginning, he's always here. That leaves us with only Best and Mini. It's funny, Best just seems to be kind of hanging and doing better than the rest of the Protosses in this tournament. He is really starting to adjust and actually become much more of a survivalist in the ASL. Mini, obviously a threat, but I mean, wow, look at these Zergs, man. Soma, no shocker there, but Calm and Killer now joining that pantheon up there with Hero, Sulky, and Soma.
Yeah, well, you'd always expect to see those three, but Calm and Killer, definitely a little bit of surprises here, right? If this bracket, instead of those two, said rain and snow, you'd be like, damn, look at that, right? But, you know, these guys, they're working hard and playing well. Our next three groups coming up next week. Looking very, very fun. And certainly, Tasteless, we're going to get at least a little bit of Protoss through here, right? Especially that Group F with Bisu and Stork in it. One of those guys has to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what shape Stork is in. He always looks like okay, but, you know, I am at the point where I don't imagine he's going to be winning an ASL ever unless he really steps it up. But he's definitely, you know, showing no matter what, he can still be getting in there. Jaedong as well on Tuesday. It's going to be a lot of fun to cast his games. That's not an easy group. I mean, Queen, Ample, Sharp, anybody could get out of that one. But fingers crossed that we get to see JD move on.
Yeah, and of course, Group D is just absolutely insane. Action and Light have been so strong for so long. Free is still in good shape. Like, don't count him out. But Effort's return is one of the big stories of this season, right? He is not always active, and we don't know exactly how strong he is right now. But peak Effort is championship
for sure.
quality.
For sure,
like that's it.
No, he's like right up there with Jaedong. Is like, oh, like if he's back in the kind of form he was in before, he's really, really scary. So be on the watch out for that, guys. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you, and we will see you in Group D next week.